Could you enable the recording, please? We begin recording.
Yeah, we're recording now.
Perfect. Okay, we are calling meeting to order. The time is now 7:09 p.m. I want to thank everyone for joining us for this general board meeting, the first general board meeting of CUNY Board 9 for the year 2023. I bid greetings on behalf of all of our guests that are here with us this evening. I hope that everyone has had a restful holiday and a good start to the new year. We have a lot of work that we're going to be doing as a community board, a lot of things to consider. So with that, we are going to commence. I would say typically we would actually have our board hearing, our community hearing at this time. That was deferred for the town hall that we had scheduled previously. There are some developments with regards to that, which I will actually discuss when we get into the business session as part of my chairman's report. But at this time, I just want to point to the rules of order for the meeting. We're going to waive the reading of the rules of order. Those were submitted to the board along as part of the package. And for those members of the community, it is available on the Board 9 website. And very simply put, it is just that we want everyone to treat each other with respect while we are here. When we are speaking about topics, about ideas, not about people. We are respectful, and we are here to move the agenda and make sure the community's business gets done. So with that, we are going to move on. We have no SLA applications for this evening. We are going to move on to presentations. So for this evening, one of the items the board will be considering is a street co-naming request for Utica Avenue, the portion from Eastern Parkway to Clarkson Avenue to Guyana Avenue. We have, do we have representatives from, do we have the applicants here with us this evening?
Yes, Mr. Arjun and Mr. Richmond should be on the line. Mr. Arjun needs to unmute himself. Derek Arjun.
Okay, I believe he is an attendee right now. He's an attendee. I would ask if the district office team can promote him to panelists, so that way he can be able to speak. Okay, thank you very much for that. So again, we're going to be considering the request for the street co-naming, Utica Avenue, Eastern Parkway to Clarkson Avenue. At this time, we will allow for a presentation to the board from the applicants. Ms. Frazier, I see you here. If it's possible, if you would introduce, the speakers.
Certainly will. Good evening, everyone. And I want to say thank you for allowing us to make this presentation this evening. I am going to excuse myself from the presentation, but I would like to say thank you to CB17, an office that I've worked in for a number of years and continue to partner with to enhance the quality of life in our community. At this time, I'll turn the presentation over to Mr. Derek Arjun and Mr. James Richmond. He was experiencing some difficulties. I hope he could join us. Thank you again for having us. Mr. Arjun.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I will echo Ms. Frazier's invitation. Thank you so much for having us. Mr. Richmond is indeed on. He is on the phone. And I heard not too long ago about a 792 number. That is indeed Mr. Richmond. So he will join us after I'm finished. Okay, well, look, it's really a pleasure appearing in front of your board. We would like you to support this initiative, the code naming of Utica Avenue from Eastern Parkway to Avenue H to Guyana Avenue. So you might ask, why this co-naming? And the answer is simple. We're seeking to recognize the achievements of the Guyanese community in the central Brooklyn area, and also to show the strong affinity of the Guyanese community to the Brooklyn area, more particularly Utica Avenue. Now, what are those achievements, you might rightfully ask? Well, let's begin with Shirley Chisholm. the great Congresswoman, whose father was Guyanese and the mother Barbadian. It might be a bit repetitive to talk about the accomplishments of this great woman, but she was the first in several things. One is, of course, the first Black woman to be elected to the US Congress. She served the 12th Congressional District from 1969 to 1983, 7 terms. And during that period, she introduced about 50 bills. She was the voice of the voiceless, the powerless, women and minorities. And then, you know, in the political sphere, that same sphere that she occupied, we had Wesley MacDonald Holder, who, because of his tremendous input in Brooklyn politics, became to be known as the Dean of Brooklyn politics. And of course, in that mix, given some intellectual flavor to that, was the great Ivan Van Sertima, the author of They Came Before Columbus. As we come down to these days, we have political representatives of Guyanese heritage. We have Roxanne Prasad, who is born in Guyana, and you have Alicia Heidemann, Heidemann or Hindman, I think is a proper pronunciation. She's an assemblywoman, and both of these women are doing very well in their districts. Roxanne Prasad is a steady person in the assembly.
The Senate.
Well, the Senate. Let's not confuse them. In the Senate, she's always introducing bills, and she's a person on whom her constituents can depend on for almost any type of help. And Alicia Hindman has been an extremely innovative congressperson. So these are some of the persons who have been a part of this Guyanese contribution to Brooklyn, more particularly Central Brooklyn, and it's in recognition of some of what they have done and others continue to do. Now, there are also Guyanese who have been involved in the educational aspects of Brooklyn. And, you know, I remember when I came to this country back in the 70s, there was this school which provided the fundamental education for many children in Brooklyn. Get Set. It started one school in Fenimore, and it grew to about 5 or 6 schools, providing valuable elementary education to our children in and around Brooklyn. And then there's been some other schools in the area. We have God's Battalion on Linden Boulevard in Brooklyn. So these schools have provided academic skills, character building, and in the whole have created fine citizens in this Brooklyn area. And then, of course, we have many Guyanese businesses in and around Brooklyn, more specifically on Utica Avenue. These businesses generate money, they create jobs, and they solidify the stability of the central Brooklyn area. Steve and Pam, the Juice Bar, just to name a few. There's several along that Utica Avenue stretch. Indeed, when we were picking up petitions, we found even more Guyanese businesses. So we are just looking to celebrate and also recognize the Guyanese diaspora in the Brooklyn area by co-naming. And may I say this, because I'm sure there are others on this call who might be of some other heritage. We do not object to any other group seeking recognition. This is just a celebration of the Guyanese diaspora in Brooklyn, as I said, and more specifically on Utica Avenue. So we ask you to support this initiative. We will be very grateful if you come on board. When it's done, we have some plans about not only co-naming, but we want to go beyond co-naming to help that strip of merchants, including the youths. Again, I ask you to support. I thank you for your attention, and I'm available to answer any of your questions. Thanks again. I'll ask Mr. Richmond, my colleague, to now make his presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Arjun. To the members of Community Board 9, greetings, all protocol observed. First, let me state that the country of Guyana has always played a pivotal role as a unifying force for Caribbean integration throughout its history, at home and abroad. In 1973, the then Prime Minister of Guyana joined with the Prime Minister of Trinidad, Jamaica, and Barbados to birth and bring about CARICOM integration. And this was signed at the Treaty of Chaguaramas in Trinidad. And then the city of Georgetown became its capital and remains the capital of CARICOM today. That's how we believe in unity, Caribbean unity, and unity of people to work on a common purpose to help all of us. And therefore, similarly, this co-naming will help us to unite our forces, and it will lend visibility and unity, thereby channeling our collective power, bringing prosperity to our entire Caribbean diaspora here in Brooklyn. Just as the Labor Day parade and festivities are similar moments for highlighting our Caribbean achievement, cultural identity, and a common community in the diaspora, this co-naming will serve to strengthen our common bond as a people. It is my hope that very soon as we walk down Utica Avenue, we will find the consulate offices of the Caribbean countries occupying office spaces there, where we can go and conduct our consular businesses right here in our neck of the woods in Brooklyn, instead of going all the way into Manhattan. This is not just any regular co-naming. As my colleague said to you, this is not just any regular. We are looking to work with our elected officials to enhance the strip by helping our small businesses. It is our hope to advance the interests of the community by bringing funds to help our youth and making the strip more attractive for the greater good of this community, this special community. The co-naming of Utica Avenue to Guyana Avenue will bring economic empowerment here in Brooklyn. It will not only bring Guyanese pride, but Caribbean pride and more economic opportunity, prosperity in this area. Now, if I could quickly say, Rihanna, whose grandmother and mother are Guyanese by birth, has become one of the top singers in the world with songs that are anthems for women and the underrepresented. She has also become one of the few female billionaires in the world through her highly successful cosmetic and fashion lines. Several of our actors, actresses has gained success on the world stage for their excellence in fame, just as in music. We have Derek Luke, we have Antoine Fisher, we have CCH Ponder, the Tisha Wright of the Black Panther fame, and many others. So we just want to celebrate the achievement of Guyana, celebrate the achievement as a one Caribbean people, and even people of other cultures. So thank you, looking forward for your support.
Thank you very much for the presentation. At this time, we will entertain some questions for the applicants, who should get additional information. We're going to create a speakers list. Please wait to be recognized. I do see member Kyrie Aline. I do see member Rashida Sadiq. I see one hand in the attendees. I see Alicia Boyd. Are there any other questions for the applicant?
Hello, good evening, everyone. So my question originally, my hand has been raised since the start of the meeting. I just wanted to bring your attention that the link online is not working, nor, so maybe if someone can update that link in case others are trying to get to this meeting. Thank you.
All right, duly noted. The team will take care of that. Rashida.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you both for giving the presentation. I had two questions. The first is how many businesses along the strip are either owned by Guyanese or are Guyanese businesses? And the second is, have you put a petition to the community with signatures from residents in that neighborhood, businesses? And if you did, how many signatures have you received for support of that?
Well, with regard to your first question, how many businesses, it's hard to quantify, but it's a substantial number of businesses. As I said, when we were going down that strip, we ourselves were surprised to find out the number. And if I had to give an estimate, I would say maybe 25, 30. We did find businesses that we weren't aware were either Guyanese owned or Guyanese connected. In one case, we found a guy with about 2 businesses side by side. And we found a few with mechanical. We even found a large electrical business that we didn't know existed, but is indeed run by a Guyanese couple. Now, the second question has to do with petitions. Yes, we did obtain a substantial number of signatures from residents. I believe, and I don't want to say that, is it in the thousands? I believe it's in the thousands.
Yes, it's in the thousands, and if you can allow Sheriff to answer that if she wants to. I know she had a.
I did submit. I am actually, I submitted the petitions signed to the board. I was actually getting into my computer once that question came up. If there are any other questions, you could move forward and I will address the question once I get the documents up. I'm so sorry.
Rashida, so is that the last piece that you're waiting for, that information on the petitions, or was
Yes.
there another piece?
Those were my two questions, the petition and
Okay.
and the businesses. Thank you.
No problem. So when Ms. Frazier finds that, we'll give you the answer, that piece of that. Okay, so I did see Ms. Boyd had her hand in the attendees. We'll recognize her and then we'll recognize Rabbi Berman. And we are going to close on Rabbi Berman.
Ms. Boyd is promoted.
I just noted that people have been calling me and saying that they cannot make it into the meeting. I know you stated that you were changing the link, but I just got a phone call 2 seconds ago that the link is still not working. Let this be, you need to be aware that this is an open meeting and that you are responsible for ensuring that the links are working. And that also means that people will probably not be able to attend this meeting because you have a defective link and you've been now 7:30 unable to correct that link. Thank you.
Please have those people type in the meeting ID. That will work.
Let me tell you something, Dante. It is not my job. It's your job to ensure that the links are done, that when people get the information.
Ms. Boyd, you know who these people,
Excuse
are,
me,
so I hope that
excuse
you will
me.
just provide
It's
the
not my
information.
job. It's not my, and what about all the
Thank you.
people who don't have my number? What about all the people who don't have my number? So you're assuming that the only people that should be here, the only people that should attend this meeting are the people who might know me, who might call me? What about all the people who don't know me? What about all the people who don't have my number?
Ms. Boyd,
This is
question-
ridiculous.
the board office will work on that and trying to rectify. We are working on that. Thank you very much, Ms. Boyd. Okay, all right, Rabbi Berman, we see you and we'll close on you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And I just want to start by saying, Dante, I apologize that you have to sit through somebody screaming at you. You're great in the office. We appreciate your hard work and you should be respected. And I hope that everybody understands that. I also want to just caution the rest of the board, some that are new members, that street namings are really decided by the city council, typically the council member where the district is. And we sort of are really advisory. That essentially the city council submits this recommendation, this whatever it is, this bill into twice a year, and the council typically votes on it. And they come before us. Sometimes the council member, some council members would like the people petitioning to go before the full board, and some council members just name a street even without going before the full board. So I also want to compliment everybody that that is engaged in the street naming. I thought that was a very thorough petition. I've seen many petitions over the years in my years on the board. I thought you did a great job both with signatures and with letters from elected officials. There were many elected officials that gave letters of support. It was very impressive. I also recognize it's a unique request because you're not just asking for one block, you're asking for several streets. And I guess my question to you is two questions. Where do the city council members stand on this request? Is this one council member? Is this two council members? And what is their position on your petition? That's my first question, your request. And my second question is, are there any other streets along Utica that are already named for somebody else? Or is that whole part of Utica not co-named yet? I know that Eastern Parkway in Utica is named, but it's Eastern Parkway that's co-named, not Utica. So I guess the two questions are: what council districts is this street naming? Within what council districts is Utica? Is it one council? Is it two? Or are they supportive? And whether just you make sure there are no other parts of Utica that are already co-named for somebody else. Thank you so much.
I'm going to answer those questions. Before we ventured into even reaching out to the community boards, we reached out to our council members. That covers all the districts. I reached out to Board 9 also before submitting the information. I reached out to Darlene Mealy, just every council member, Farah Lewis, all the council members that covers the various districts. We also checked to ensure that there will be no issues with the co-naming, that there were no names along the strip that we're proposing to co-name. So we did do our legwork, our research, and that was done. And thank you for, enlightening those who do not know about the petition. We wanted to make sure that the petition that we submitted represented the residents, businesses along the strip, and that we did. For your district, we submitted, I think, 12 pages of 11 signatures, among to about 240 to 300 plus signatures that covers your area. So we did our research, and thank you so very much.
Well, thank you. Well done. Thank you for responding.
Okay, thank you very much for the applicants. Thank you for the presentation. And again, so this application was brought before the Transportation Committee, which voted unanimously to approve. It was also approved by the Executive Committee, and we will be considering the application this evening during our business session. So to the applicants, thank you for coming this evening. You are more than welcome to stay. And, we will definitely make sure we get back to you with the outcome from the board.
Well,
I
thanks
sincerely
again.
appreciate-
Yes,
Thank you.
everyone. Take care.
Thank you very much, board members. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Have a good evening. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the agenda to the public comment period. The public comment period is for 30 minutes. Members of the public are allowed 3 minutes to address the board on a matter of concern. Mr. District Manager, do we have anyone who has signed up in advance for public commentary?
Let's see, I think we do have a list. Mia, do we have a list?
while
I
you're doing-
Mr. Sorid had requested to sign up, and I do believe we have some agency representatives that are separate and apart, but I believe Mr. Sorid is in the attendees section, and Ms. Boyd has her hand up as well.
Okay, so we'll take Mr. Sword as he signed up. I will add Ms. Boyd's name and just for the for those in attendance. If you wish to be recognized for public commentary, please use the raise hand function. It should be, if you are on the Zoom application, it's under reactions typically, and there should be an option for you to raise your hand. If you are joining us by phone, if you use *9, the *9 function is a toggle to raise and lower your hand. So please do so, and the district office team will add you to the queue for public commentary. All right, so please promote Mr. Sorid. We will hear from him first.
Okay. Okay,
Hi, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, great. Two things. Regarding the co-naming of the street, I wanted to respectfully request that it be named Shirley Chisholm. When I was at CB17, there was a woman who said, why not name it Shirley Chisholm? She represented all of us. Shirley Chisholm is of Guyanese descent and Bajan descent. And in my humble opinion, the neighborhood is diverse there. But there's many different groups. There's Jamaicans, there's the Hasidic Jewish community, which is over there. Something which is a diverse neighborhood. It's not like a Chinatown. So I would respectfully request to be named after a person, Shirley Chisholm, who brought the food stamps program, very significant. On Schenectady, you have another street that's already named after Wesley McDonald Holder, who's Guyanese. I think Shirley Chisholm deserves Utica Avenue. And I know 2 years ago, I think there was Little Guyana that was named on Lefferts Boulevard. So I realized that that was named Little Guyana there. And I just respectfully request that it be Shirley Chisholm where she deserves it. Number two, speaking about the items of the votes, I respectfully request that the board take a look at that the informational meetings that was conducted for the change in the bylaws violated the charter. There's substantive provisions where you're not allowed to, the board chair cannot appoint officers. It's in the 2800 section of the, it's in the charter. You can't, the board chair cannot appoint officers, and you can't appoint somebody for a month and then say, I get the rest of the term. That's a de facto appointment also. So I asked them to look at that. Number two, the informational sessions was a disguised committee. There's bylaws committee in Manhattan, Community Board 8, Community Board 6. Why isn't there a bylaws committee here? The reason, so that there's no public session. Okay, the public have a right to speak. Functionally, it was a de facto committee because of section 2801B. Whenever an act is authorized to be done or any determination is made by the community board, you have to have a quorum and the majority vote. That's 2801B. And that applies to the community board as well as committees. Then going over to the rules of order for community board meetings from October 2016, you go to number 4, it refers to the general board meetings and community board meetings collectively or board meetings. So you take a look at section 4 for the rules of order, and you see that general board meetings and committee board meetings are board meetings. You then go to section 2801B, and it specifically says that that in a community board, it has to be by a majority and also a quorum. And you didn't get the 10 days. If you look at your website, the website specifically says that the Excel sheet was done today. So there were changes. You go into the bylaws, even though it's labeled as the 4th, take a look where it says Excel. It was done today's date in the fine print, .xls. You need 10 days according to the bylaws. And, you know, there's a lot of things, people look at it, this should be done by a committee. A lot of people are upset. They don't want to waste more time. It was done.
Sorry, your time is expired. I need you to conclude, please.
Okay, thank you. Good. So I'll conclude by saying that you're public servants. Serve the public. There needs to be a public session, and this isn't what you call progress.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will now see Ms. Boyd.
There's some misinformation that's been going around. One was that the executive board had actually voted against creating a bylaw committee. However, I looked at the minutes of the meeting of that time and it was no vote. So that means is that this community board, which has the power to create a committee, should be the one actually creating the committee. Second, the community in no process has been a part of this process. In no way. We have not been able to say our opinion, to review the proposals. It was given to us yesterday. We went to an information session and we didn't even have the proposals. We couldn't speak, we couldn't be seen, we couldn't be heard. And it was conducted, the information session was conducted like a meeting. Fred solicited information. He changed the bylaws proposals as a result of that information. Of course, he only changed the information that he liked, and the information that he didn't like, he didn't want, he didn't change. So it was very selective of what he changed. And the community, and the whole issue was, according to Fred, it was because community board members do not sit there and come to meetings. He didn't talk about how he himself has been violating Robert's Rules of Order and constantly debating, and how he spends a lot of time taking up time by debating, which he should not be doing. He didn't talk about the fact that he has done nothing to encourage board members to come to community board meetings. He has not talked about the way that he has behaved with the existing bylaws, where he removed Vivian Morgan off of her position, not because of attendance, because he claims everything is about attendance, but because she didn't work at his pleasure. And he cited, quote unquote, the part in the bylaws where he removed her because she was not working according to the way he viewed her. I say all this to say that it is very important for you as a community board to understand that you should never allow a chair to single-handedly put proposals, to demand that the proposals be passed, that does not have a bylaw committee so other people can interject and put their opinion. And also during that information session, he insists that no one could discuss any of the issues because it was only an information session, except when he saw bylaws by other people that he didn't like, he then interjects with information and debate. So I warn this community board that it is important that you do not allow the chairs to single-handedly change the community board bylaws without due process, which is the basics of democracy. Thank you.
Ms. Boyd? Do we have, let me see, hold on.
Nicola Cox has her hand raised.
I do see.
She
and
was
then I do
early.
see- Right, and then I see Ana Luisa and Primo. So
Right.
we'll see Nicola, Ana Luisa, and then we'll see Primo.
Okay. Nicola should be on.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I have concerns about the bylaw process, similar to Jay and Alicia, but from a different perspective. I've been a community resident member for a few years. I've been attending community meetings for a while. I think many of the committees have struggled with attendance, struggled with getting participation. And to me, the bylaw process would be a perfect way to try and engage the community, but the community has been absent in this process. I understand that it's probably time based on the information session for us to review the bylaws, which makes sense. But the community has absolutely no idea of what's going on in this process. And if we want to start engaging people, it would be great, since this is the lowest level of our democratic process, being the community boards. Let's try and get more people to attend, to understand what's going on, the rationale for making these changes or proposing changes, proposing a review, having hearings related to it. I received an email today with a tracker. If I hadn't heard, basically through word of mouth, that there was an information session last week, I would have had absolutely no idea what this tracker was about. There was no background information, no understanding that this is part of a review session, that there would be a vote or review today at this meeting. We need to have more information. And I think that email only went to community residents and board members. I didn't see anything on the website that pertain to today's meeting and the fact that bylaws would be reviewed. So the community at large really doesn't have an understanding of what's going on. And if we really want to empower our community and get them involved in the democratic process, it begins at our community board level. And it's been hard as a resident to sit in meetings. I can't see board members. I don't know who's attending from the board, because I mean, now I'm starting to see more people's names because I've been promoted to panelist. Otherwise, I only see a few names of people that actually have their cameras turned on. Most board members do not turn their cameras on. I have no idea of what other community residents are participating in the sessions. So it just feels like I'm in a black hole most of the times when I sit through these meetings. I understand there are limitations to webinars. I understand that you're still trying to work through the COVID challenges, but we have to find a way of effectively engaging the community. Otherwise, we're going to still have the stalemate where you have a very little participation with the community. So with this bylaw process, again, I think this is a perfect way for us to begin allowing people to understand and participate in a democratic process, understand the bylaws as they exist, why some of the changes are being proposed, have a hearing so that the public would be able to participate and add their comments and their feedback, and hopefully empower people to begin to participate in the committees going forward. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Cox. We will now see Ana Luisa.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I was able to meet a few of everybody, let's see if some familiar faces. A few months ago, there was like an in-person event. And so I'll just introduce myself. My name is Ana Luisa. I am now the Director of Constituent Services and Community Engagement for Councilmember Crystal Hudson. We're District 35. Thank you for having all. Just a few quick announcements. Our regularly weekly on Wednesdays, we have a housing specialist. There's no appointments after. It's from 12:30 to 5:30. You can always call in advance if you want to make an appointment. We can walk in. But we also have on Thursdays, every Thursday, we actually have a attorney, a CUNY law attorney, who deals with housing and other situations. You do need to make an appointment. He comes in every Thursday from 2:30 to 5:30. It's a free legal advice. And just starting this month, every second Tuesday of the month, we'll actually be at the Brooklyn Central Library. We'll be doing constituent services from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So those are for folks who are unable to call or visit our offices during normal hours, which are Monday through Thursday from 9 to 5. So every second Tuesday of the month, you can visit us at the Central Branch. And we'll be there with Brooklyn Neighborhood Services. So this is primarily for seniors, but of course, myself and our manager of constituent services will be there to deal with any other case that comes in. Just really quickly, last week, we had our kickoff for the Atlantic Avenue mixed use plan, the rezoning of Atlantic Avenue. It was virtual. It was great to see a lot of familiar faces. And in February, we're actually planning to do a couple of in-person working groups. More information will probably come in the next week or so. So if you're not signed up to our newsletter, you can always reach out to me directly. You can call our office and we'll sign you up for the newsletter for any updates if you don't follow us on the socials. Just really quickly, my email is agarcia, AGARCIA @council.nyc.gov, or you can call our office anytime Monday through Thursday from 9 to 5. Our number is 718-260-9191. And just really quickly, our last announcement, we are co-hosting with the Nonprofit Help Desk discretionary funding application workshops. The first one is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Both of them are virtual. The first one is at 6 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday the 25th, and it's an introduction to all New York City Council discretionary funding. It's a one-hour workshop that will help you understand the purpose of the funding, eligibility, and assess your organizations. These are for nonprofits, of course, for their readiness for the application process. And for Thursday at 6 p.m., also virtual, we're doing a discretionary process simplified. It's a 90-minute workshop that will help you begin to prepare your applications by presenting important background information, review pre-qualification procedures, and to go through the application itself. And each workshop will have time to offer for Q&A. Thank you so much for having me. Once again, Anna Garcia from Councilmember Hudson's office, Director of Constituent Services and Community Engagement. You can always reach us at 718-260-9191. 718-260-9191, or you can email me directly, at agarcia@council.nyc.gov. But thank you so much for having me. I look forward to seeing folks again soon. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very much. Okay, Primo, we see you, and I believe that's the last time we will close public commentary on you.
Thanks. I just want to say first, thank you to everybody who's coming and expressing your concerns. I feel like it's appropriate for a member of the community board to speak to some of the points that have been raised. And, I would say a few things. First, the community board takes this bylaw revision process very seriously. We've been undergoing it for several months at this point. We've had a lot of conversation about it. We've also had a lot of conversation about going into a committee structure. Ultimately, that was the direction the community board decided not to go in. Fred does not make any decisions in a vacuum. Fred is also a person that we have worked with for a long time. And the reason that we are moving forward with this is because we know that it is not in his interest to assume power at all. His interest is in creating a high functioning community board that addresses many of the concerns that have already been raised in this space. After working with Fred for several years, I can say that that is his primary drive. He would not be volunteering hours and hours and hours and hours of his time every month, every week, every day, if it were not in the best interest of the community. I think that we intend to vote on these items one by one. The bylaws won't be passed en masse. They will be voted on individually, which is something that's important to consider. And we appreciate the public's input in everything. We know, obviously, that this is beyond just a democracy. It is also a democratic republic, right? Where we elect people into public office who then make decisions for us and enact rules and do et cetera, et cetera. The community board is a microcosm of that. We have 50-something community members here who are very concerned with the well-being of the community. And so I hope that we can operate with some level of trust. I also understand that people are frustrated that they can't, see members, and those are things that we, voted on this kind of panelist structure as well. It's not a decision that's made by Fred or a decision that's made in a vacuum. It's a decision that has been had a lot of conversation on, and the community board voted on it. And this is the structure that they would like to keep because of previous experiences. And so I keep hearing the same kind of ideas come up, and I just felt like it was appropriate to address them. All of these things are voted on by the community board. These are all decisions that are made as a collective. And that is exactly kind of our purpose in this space.
Thank you, Primo. Okay, so I do see a couple of people, do see some raised hands from agencies. We are actually going to be doing acknowledgements in this next section, so we're going to recognize you on those pieces. So Ms. Scantlebury and I saw Mr. Rothblatt. So we're going to get to you in one moment. I just wanted to confirm, is there any more public commentary at this point? Because otherwise we can close the section and we can go out. Okay, hearing none, thank you very much for all the comments. Okay, so and without further ado, let's go into, because we do have a very full agenda this evening. We're going to go into acknowledgements. So if you are representing an agency or an elected official, please raise your hand so that way we can make sure we give you the mic and you're able to introduce yourself and your agency. We would ask we're kind of on a time crunch today because we have a lot on the agenda. So please tell us a few highlights. But you know, they say you know, brevity is my spice of life, or I'm making up something, but yeah. Okay. All right. I do see Ms. Edwards. I do see Ms. Scantlebury. I see Mr. Coleman. Raul, I saw your hand up before. Did you put it back down? I see Ms. Crawford. And Mr. Rothblatt might be the strong comment type. And then we'll see you, Raul, last, okay?
And then Arna also has her hand raised.
Sorry?
Arna also has her hand raised.
I see her. We'll catch her right after Mr. Coleman.
All right.
Okay. Ms. Edwards, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Portia Edwards. I'm the District Director for State Senator Zelnor Myrie. We represent the 20th District in the State Senate, covering a lot of new areas, which I won't get into because it's too many to name right now, but all of CB9, which makes us very, very happy. Just a few announcements. Really quickly, our office, you guys know our office is located 1077 Nostrand Avenue. We are taking appointments for constituent cases. Anyone can call or email us. As long as you live in the district, we are open to helping, but it is by appointment. COVID has been very real in our office, and almost all of us have had it at least twice. And so we are taking every precaution to keep ourselves and the community safe. And so all of our constituent cases, if you need to come into the office, are by appointment only. We are doing our State of the District address on February 26th. It will be at Medgar Evers College. The address is 1638 Bedford Avenue. It will be in the cafeteria on the second floor. There will be refreshments served. The senator will talk about his view for the district for the coming year and how we plan on making our district better. So please come out, please RSVP. I believe Dante should have that information already. If not, I'll make sure that you guys get it. Again, in February, we are going to have a CUF representative in our office once a week to be taking housing cases. So if you know of anyone who's having any kind of housing issues, please let us know so that we can make an appointment so that they can sit down with a housing attorney in our office through CUF. Yep, that's pretty much it for us. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. My email is pedwards@nysenate.gov. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a great evening.
Put the heat on.
Thank you very much, Ms. Edwards. Okay, next we'll recognize Ms. Scantlebury.
Good evening, everyone. I am Venus Scantlebury. I'm the new Brooklyn Outreach Coordinator for the New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board. I'll make it short. We are an independent agency that investigates, mediates, and prosecutes against police misconduct. We investigate police misconduct allegations under the jurisdiction VETO, which is excessive force, abuse of authority, discourtesy, and offensive language. So if you know anyone, or if you're a victim or a witness of police misconduct, you can always call 311. You can file online on our website. You can follow our socials and direct message us at CCRB_NYC. Or you can come and visit us in person at our office, 100 Church Street, 10th floor, Lower Manhattan. Also, another great opportunity to engage youth members in your communities. We have a youth advisory council, and it's open to young New Yorkers ages 10 to 18 who express a deep interest in criminal justice and who are interested in, improving police and community relations. Those applications are live and they're closing really soon, January 31st. So I just want to spread the message. If you know any young people who are interested in criminal justice, this is a great start for them. And that's all. Have a great new year, everyone, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you very much, Ms. Canterbury. Okay, we will see Mr. Coleman next. I would just remind all members in attendance, please make sure you're watching your microphones. Keep them muted if you are not speaking. And with that, Mr. Coleman, you have the floor.
Hello, CB9. Happy New Year. I think this is probably the last week we can say that before it gets too old. So great seeing you all again. I don't want to repeat anything that my colleagues have already repeated, but discretionary funding, we'll have that tomorrow. We also have a CUF rep coming into our office on Thursdays. Please let us know if you need assistance. We also partner with CUNY Citizenship Now on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So also let us know. If you need any assistance, as always, you can reach out to us. We're at 930 Flatbush, right across from the McDonald's, so Flatbush and Snyder. Our district office number, 718-287-8762. My direct number is 929-496-6341. And I can be reached by email, tcoleman@council.nyc.gov. Thank you, and I'm gonna pass it on to whomever's next.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we will recognize Ms. Lipkin.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's well. Good to see you all. Happy New Year. For those who don't know, my name is Arna Lipkin. I'm serving as community liaison together with my new colleague, Diana Irving, for Connect IDCC of Crown Heights. We are a new program under DOH. Located at Interboro. There are 5 Interboro sites. We are in Crown Heights, and our goal is to reach out to the community with surveys and in community engagement to see what the needs of the community are. We have several services in Connect. One is vocational assistance. The other is benefits. We have peers and we have some therapists in our specific program. There are 9 sites Connect throughout the city. Specifically, the events that we have going on are, we have a gun violence support group that takes place every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. We are beginning a parent support group starting this Thursday, January 26, 12 to 1 at our office, 921 East New York. Refreshments will be served. Just to clarify, this is a support group where parents can exchange ideas and get support. It's not professional skills, but it is a support group that parents can benefit from. The other thing I'm excited about is with our surveys that we've been working on for the last several months, we found that public safety is a very big issue. So we are doing a public safety quality of life forum to take place March 22nd at Brooklyn Children's Museum. We will have some words from our inspectors and some top officials from NYPD. Also, we're trying to get someone from the transit district to present. Then we will have some Cure Violence partners doing like a round table. And we will have lots of tabling from agencies and community-based organizations. So I'll have more on that. I will send you the flyer on that and you can share it out. And we look forward to seeing you then on March 22nd. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lipkin. Okay, next I see we have Ms. Crawford from Kings County DA's office.
Good night, everyone. I wish everybody Happy New Year. If anybody wondering what our office do, we prosecute. So every crime that happens in Brooklyn, as long as it goes through the police department, it comes to our office. So before that, the DA would like, who is Eric Gonzalez, would like the public to know that he has a bureau that's called the Action Center. And that Action Center is for the community. That number is 718-250-2340. If you have any problems, if you want to know about cases or just anything, call that number and reach that department. They will take a report and we will guide you through our process and how to understand our office. My personal number is 718-250-4877. If you all have any issues or concerns, feel free to call me and I will guide you through our process. Thank you, everyone, and have a pleasant night.
Thank you very much, Ms. Crawford. Okay, are there any other, okay, I was gonna say, Mr. Rothblatt.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Lunar New Year, and to anyone celebrating, happy Gregorian New Year, if people are still partying for that. My name is Raul Rothblatt. I'm the Director of Constituent Affairs for Assembly Member Brian Cunningham. Our office, we're generally there. I get there at 8:15 in the morning. We'll often have somebody till 6 p.m. Our walk-ins, we have constituent appointments from Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have a lot of people walking in. We do our best to help everyone. Please send people our way if you have a chance, and we'll try to connect you with everybody else. I think the most important thing I want to engage people on is the Kingsborough redevelopment project. So the ending of the initial section is coming up on February. Hold on, let me make sure I get the date. February 21st. So if you want to have your say in how the project runs, please get your word in now. We're not quite at the first draft yet. So there's a lot of debate. We heard a lot of people discussing public safety, but there are other concerns as well. I want to make sure that people really consider the design elements, the level of affordability, how many units. I mean, there's a lot of very complex things to balance. Some people were making a lot of criticism that you have 1,000 units of housing and only 15 parking spaces. So some people may think that's a great idea. Some people may object to that. If you want to have a say in that, the time is now. There's the EDC has a main woman who would be good to contact, but you can always contact us. This was part of Vital Brooklyn, and it was broken up by assembly districts. So really, it's kind of comes to us to really take a lead on that. So we want to take responsibility for that. Please call our office. Our phone number is 718-771-3105, 718-771-3105. You can find us all on social media, NYAM Cunningham. We will be glad to connect with you, whether it's on TikTok or in person, however you want to do it. We definitely want to engage. Our office is also we treat it as a community hub. Just the other day, last week, we had something called 7-7, which was a community speak out. It was a great way to get together, very creative way to build community. Somebody just asked to use our space. If you have a group that would like to use our space, we welcome it. Our next community event is going to be on February 2nd, something very near and dear to my heart. We're going to discuss the landmarking of 227 Duffield, not in our district, but the abolitionist history in Brooklyn is, I think, extremely important, and it was recognized. We finally got landmark recognition 2 years ago on February 2nd, 2021, but we are continuing this forward. There's lots of new ways, new interactions between the abolitionist history here. We have that Flatbush African Burial Ground, some very, very exciting things happening at the Lefferts Manor. There's a visioning session on that coming up. They're doing some really great stuff. But please join us. That's a Facebook event on February 2nd. I would like to invite people to our task forces. Our most active task forces are the Transportation Task Force and the Small Business Task Force. So we could really use some more people speaking about small business at our meetings. And I don't want to take up too much time, but I do want to really plug, it's not something that our office is doing, but we really want to support. Bridge Street Development Corporation is doing a survey of all businesses in basically covering Atlantic Avenue to Empire, Franklin to Utica. It's like a huge swath of Crown Heights. And it's a really good opportunity to find out what the business needs are and what the community needs are. So please, please engage with that as well. And oh, and if you hadn't noticed, I do want to mention that our legislative stuff, all of this stuff is hopefully to bring us towards better legislation. And if you didn't know, even though Brian Cunningham was only elected a few months ago, he is the first vice president of the New York State Association of Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Legislators, Inc. So I'm very proud of that. And I do want to make sure that we use your voices to help us figure out the best legislation. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rothblatt. I saw her hand up earlier, Ms. Goodrich.
Just wanted to say, bring greetings from SUNY Downstate. Thank you, Chair Baptiste and the whole CB9 family, board members, committees alike, and all my friends in the elected official offices. Just wanted to bring greetings from SUNY Downstate. Happy New Year as we are closing out the month. And our organization and school is here to serve. You can always reach out to Government and Community Relations, which I run at 718-270-3866. And you can email governmentrelations@downstate.edu. And I'll see you next month.
Very much, Ms. Goodrich. Okay, are there any other representatives for elected officials or organizations?
Fred, it's Warren. I do have a question.
We're really not taking questions only because it's acknowledgements right now. Is it urgent?
Well, I think it's important.
We have Representative Ellie Slavin from
Yeah,
Congresswoman
let's
Yvette
get
Clarke.
Mr. first, only because he's been waiting patiently. Then we'll take the
Okay.
question.
I'm patient, Fred.
I'll be very short. My name is Ellie Slavin, Community Liaison for Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, the members in DC. Once the smoke clears, I'll let the board know what committees she's sitting on. She does sit on a few very important committees. Hopefully she continues as such. We're located at 222 Lenox Road between Rogers and Nostrum. We are open for business. Of course, we're taking the precautions, but as you know, we deal strictly in federal issues. We're very busy with immigration, passports, visas. Please lower. I'm sorry about that. We're at our number is 718-287-1142. And as I said before in the previous meetings, on our website, clark.house.gov, we have a huge, much information of our doings and where you can leave comments now we have an event coming up Friday, January 27th at 1 p.m. That's at Medgar Evers College. And it's for the MBDA, which is Minority Business Development Administration. It's a roundtable discussion. We'll be hosting a partnership with Mr. Donald R. Carvins, Jr., who's Undersecretary of Commerce for Minority Business Development. I did send the flyer to the Community Board 9's website, and I'm sure they will post it. I also, in the chat, I put in the how you can register for that meeting, and it begins with TINYURL. But by the time I put my name in, some other messages came in. So again, please, any issues, federal issues, do contact us, 718-287-1142. My cell number is 202-821-7906. I'm available 24/6. I'm Sabbath observant, but I do get my calls after work. And if there's issues, please don't hesitate to call us. And again, thank you for having me. And I'm just going to stay on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Slavin. Okay, I want to thank all the elected officials and representatives that joined us this evening. It's the partnership, it's the relationships, that's what helps us get things done in Community District 9. And I thank you, and I'm looking forward to starting off 2023 strong and getting even stronger as we go along. Okay, so before we go into the next section, our first Vice Chair Warren, I said you noted that you had something important, message you had to give.
Hi, everybody. This is really directed to Raul, knowing all his good work as well as Brian's good work. Through his whole report on the issue of real estate at Kingsbrook Hospital. I haven't heard anything about healthcare, and it really concerns me because, as everyone knows, our district is one of the most, how should I say, in need of healthcare. H&H hospitals are overloaded. So I hope next time he speaks, he addresses the issue of providing healthcare to our community. Thank you.
Great question.
Sorry?
Can I address that really quickly? Sorry.
Very quick.
Just very quick, Warren, there actually is a new program that they just rolled out, Kingsbrook, for diabetes care, for those who are diabetic or those who are caregivers. I went to the graduation. It was amazing. It's the next program's coming up, and I'd be happy to email anybody. We're going to be partnering with them on that, so I'd be happy to email anybody on that program.
Your Honor, I say this with great respect. We need beds. We need psych wards. We need detox. That's all my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, all right. So with that, we are going to conclude the public session. We are now going to go into the business session. Madam Secretary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear
if
me?
Please, yep, we can hear you. If you would please call the roll.
I think Dante is going to take care of that. Remember, I'm not in the country.
Understood.
Yes.
Sorry about that. All right, so would a member of the district office team please call the roll? Now to remind members,
One
please
second.
keep your mic silent unless you're speaking, just because we want to minimize the amount of noise.
Maya, do you have the list up?
I can call the roll.
Thank you.
All right, members, please prepare to unmute yourselves and provide your confirmation of your presence. Kyrie Aline,
Present. Hi, Mia, and safe travels back, Linda.
thank you. Nicholas Almanor,
Present.
Stuart Balberg. Stuart Balberg. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Naomi Baptiste. John Beckles Jr. John Beckles Jr. Rabbi Yaakov Berman.
Here, thank you.
Thank you. Warren Burke.
Here.
Thank you. Augustine Blackwell. Augustine Blackwell. Celeste Chase.
Here.
Thank you. Suki Chung.
Here.
Thank you. Sol Query. Jamie Eckstein. Matthew Fulton.
Here.
Thank you. Tessa Hackett Vieira. Tessa Hackett Vieira. Seen her. I'll come back. Abina Hutchful.
Here.
Sorry, I skipped. Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez.
I'm here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Primo Asana.
Here.
Francisca Leopold. Francisca Leopold. Mina Lagute, excuse me. Michael Liebert. Matthias Limburger.
Michael Liebert here. Liebert here.
Ready.
Thank you. Limburger.
Present.
Thank you. Tessa, Ms. Hackett Vieira, I see you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Assistant District Manager. I appreciate.
Thank you. Courtenay Loisel.
Present.
Thank you. Christian LeBeau.
Present.
Lavina Letwine.
Present. Latween is the first name.
Letwin, thank you. Erin Mazursky,
Present.
Vivian Morgan, Pat Moses.
Here.
Pat Moses, thank you. Beverly Newsome,
Here.
Yankee Pearson, Real Pilgrims,
Present.
Ted Pilcotti. Ted Pilcotti. Milford Pruitt.
Here.
Yanela Rome Perry is absent. Dexter Roberts. Felice Robertson.
Present.
Rashida Sadiq.
Here.
Rashida Sykes.
It's only.
Rashida Sykes. Debbie Timothy.
Present.
Thank you. Linda Watson Lord.
Present.
Teresa Westerdahl.
Present.
Lorianne Woolsey. Lorianne Woolsey.
Present.
Thank you. Cheryl Wright.
Present.
I'm gonna go back to the people who I did not hear from. John Beckles Jr. Augustine Blackwell. Soul Query. Jamie Eckstein.
I am present. Thank you.
That is Jamie. Gotcha.
Yep, that is me. Thank you.
No problem.
Stu just called me and said that he was on his cell phone.
He may be in
And-
attendees. What is the last 4 digits of his number?
He said he's gonna call right now. He just hung up with me. The last 4 digits of his number are 7189. He'll be calling. He was on. He just hung up to call me. He's calling me right back. 7189.
Understood. Okay, give me 1 moment. I'll give you the total.
Thank you.
Okay. 28 members present.
Okay, 28 members. 28 members present. We have a quorum.
Yes.
Okay, before we go to the next item of business, I wanted to make one.
Mia, I see him on the phone. He's on there. 7189.
Understood. We'll move him over, Yakov. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's.
Stuart Dahlberg, present. Oh. Thank you, Mr. Dahlberg.
Welcome. Okay. All right. So we're going to, before we go on in the agenda, we're going to make, would like to make one adjustment with the concurrence of the board. Under voting items, this is a small change, just want to swap items B and C. So we'll consider, I'm sorry. No, I take it back. We're going to move item A to the bottom and everything else moves up. So we'll consider the street co-naming request, the letter of support for the Flatbush Avenue bid merger, and then we'll consider the proposed bylaw amendments. Is there any objection to making that change? Okay, hearing none, by common consent, we're going to make that change. So we'll consider item A as the last, and items B and C will move up in the list for consideration. So we're going to move on to item 2 now. Approval of the December 22 general board meeting minutes. Are there any corrections to be made to the minutes at this time? I call for a second time. Are there any corrections to be made to the minutes? Okay, hearing no recommendations for changes. Is there an objection to approval of the minutes by common consent? Okay. hearing no
Move
objection-
move for
Okay,
consent.
it's okay. As long as there's no objections, it's common consent, as long as there are no objections. Okay, so hearing no objections, the minutes are approved by common consent. Okay, we are now going to move on to the committee reports. The committee reports have, all those reports that have been submitted should have been included as part of the packets. Are there any chairs on right now who have an oral report they wish to give? Remember, your report should stand on their own only if there is an announcement for something that needs to be done at this meeting. Please keep any comments to less than a minute. Are there any committee chairs with reports at this time?
Nicholas Salmon from Park Recreation and Culture.
Okay, what's your announcement?
We passed a resolution, I don't think that was included in the executive meeting, that the weekend after Memorial Day should be the date for the CB9 Community Fair. So that's the only thing I wanted to add in addition to our minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there any committee chairs with any announcements or important business for the board? Ms. Timothy, I see you.
Hi, good evening. I was just checking to make sure that our minutes for environmental protection was submitted to the board. I didn't see it attached. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, that is accounted for.
Dante, were they
Yeah.
submitted to the board with part of the package?
I'll have Khalid confirm that they were submitted. So just give us a sec.
Okay. All right, Ms. Westerdahl, only because we're considering reports from chairs at this time, is there an important matter with regards to the committee
So
report?
I just wanted to make a comment that I checked my packet today and I only had transport and economic committee meeting minutes. And I did send a message to the board that all the other committees were missing meetings. Their minutes were missing from the packet we got, so I wasn't able to review those. Only economics and transport. Maybe, I don't know if anybody else, Debbie saw that EP was missing. I did as well. So I just want to make that note and check to see if that was just me or, because I didn't get a response. So I'd like to know. Thank you.
Okay, the district office is going to confirm what was in the packet. The only other thing I would note is that that's one of the responsibilities of the chairs. Please make sure that those are submitted in a timely fashion so that way they can be distributed to the board for review. So if there are any questions about what's going on in the committees, they'll have that access. If there are any minutes that are submitted late, we will make sure that those go out as well, or at the very least, they'll be available on the board website. We'll advise the board. Okay, I do see Ms. Newsom, I do see Ms. Moses, and Ms. Hackett Vieira. We'll see you right after that, although we're really entertaining chairs, but I'll see you right after. Ms. Newsom.
Yes. Good evening. I'd just like to announce that Community Board Non-Housing Committee is partnering with Community Board 17 for this Saturday to do a town hall in regards to overdevelopment. And elected officials will be there from, right now, it's going to be Chandler, and we've reached out to Crystal. She's going to have someone to show up, the ones from our district. So if you have any questions in regards to housing or development or anything like that, please show up. It's going to be at Erasmus from 1 to 4.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. May I ask it?
Yes.
So first of all, thank you, Beverly, for organizing this meeting. I will say I have to strongly object in the strongest terms because many of the meetings over the last few years about this development were held on Saturday. And I know that the entire neighborhood is very interested in what's going to be on this location, both including the members of the Hasidic community. There are at least 200 families there. Many of them have participated in some of the other meetings, and they cannot participate on Saturday. So I'm not sure whether you should reschedule or strongly consider rescheduling, but I don't think it's appropriate or respectful to host a meeting of such importance where so many members of the community, it's going to affect them, and they attended and showed interest by attending all the meetings that have been about this topic so far, to hold it on Saturday. I don't even know if it's legal. I mean, based on the board history, we've never held meetings like this on Saturday. And I think you should strongly consider doing it on a date where all members of the community can participate.
Okay, Yakov, I hear what you're saying. And we're partners. Community Board 9 is in partnership with Community Board 17. Community Board 9 did not initiate the town hall, but we are in agreement to be in partners.
They're guilty by association, that's fine.
Okay.
Not the first time we've had wait, Fred, this is not the first time we've had a housing meeting on a Saturday. And we have done that on Community Board 9. We apologize.
This is an issue of extreme
All right,
importance.
order of the day, order of the day,
It's
order
been
of the day,
held-
order of the day.
These meetings have been
Order of the
held on
day.
Saturday
Order
for
of the
2
day.
years.
Order of the day.
And
Order of the
when
day.
it's not an issue of
Rabbi Berman,
importance,
Rabbi Berman, order of the day. Your point has been noted. We will work to see about, what we can do in terms of making sure that there is engagement with the community on a day that people can participate.
no,
That'll be
I do not want Community
Rabbi
9 to
Berman,
participate in the Saturday
Berman,
event.
It's not
Fred.
gonna happen.
Rabbi Berman, you stated
Community
your
Board
point.
9 should not be
Rabbi
participating in an
Berman,
event on
please.
Saturday. It's that simple.
Order of the day, Rabbi Berman, order of the day. It's been noted. All right.
Wait, Fred, before you move on, I'd like to express something. Wait, Fred, I didn't start this. Our community.
No, and that's the thing, we're not going to start or finish anything. You've given your announcement. The point was made. It'll be discussed separately, offline. That was the announcement, and that's for the board's information. We are going to move on. Okay, I do see 3 board members. This is typically only for chairs to give reports. I will see the 3 board members, but then we need to move on. Ms. Westerdahl, I see your question. Ms. Hackabier, I see you, because I know you had your hand up first. Ms. Westerdahl will see you, and Ms. Chung, and then we're going to move on. Ms. Hackabier. You're muted. Ms. Hackabier?
Morgan have texted me like 15.
Oh, you're muted again. Ms. Hackabier, you're on mute.
Yes, I just want to let Mia Hilton know that Vivian Morgan, board member, have texted me 10 times to let me know she's on the phone. Nobody was hearing her. Her last 4 numbers are 7690. And please mark her present. She joined, she rejoined, she joined, she rejoined. Sorry for the interruption, and please proceed. I apologize.
Okay, she's in the attendee section. We'll promote her. Thank you.
She's in the attendee section.
I see the number. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Young?
Beverly, I was just going to ask if you had sent out the information to the board office, but I see that you did, so I have the flyer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I thought I saw Ms. Westerdahl. Did you have a question, or you're good right now?
No, I already asked the question about the minutes, missing minutes for the
Okay.
committees.
Very well then. Okay, thank you. Okay, so, and then for transportation, we have 1 action item, which will be considered the street co-naming, and we'll discuss that when we get to the voting items. All right, at this time, we will take the report of the district manager.
Okay. Ms. Moses has her hand raised. FYI.
Oh, Ms. Moses, I'm sorry. Did you have a report for Euler?
I didn't understand what happened to all the minutes. I mean, we submitted our minutes on the 18th of January. And then when I looked, it was like, we had to call like 3 or 4 times to get our minutes submitted. And so I don't understand what's going on with the minutes, because at the end of the day, all the chairs are required to submit minutes. So I don't understand how the community can know what's going on if they can't read any minutes.
point is taken, and the district manager will address, and we'll see where we need to fix. Okay, all right, so at this time, Dante, you have the floor for your district manager's report.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone on here. Some familiar faces as well. So for the DM report, first, the district service cabinet was held this morning. You should have received a packet, well, an email of information which included the minutes from that meeting earlier this morning. Something I did want to note, all the information is in the minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the board office. I did want to note that Sergeant Barada had mentioned that there has been a significant increase in grand larceny, specifically mailbox phishing, more specifically the mailbox in front of the post office on Empire Boulevard. So I just want to make that known, that they've definitely seen an influx of reports there. So just be wary of and cognizant of putting money in the mail. If you know of folks who do that, I would definitely encourage you to have a discussion with them and figure out other ways of sending money, because that seems to be a real issue in the district. But moving forward in my report, this was mentioned a little earlier. I just wanted to encourage people. I'm going to be sending out an email again tomorrow. The Bridge Street Development Corporation is conducting their CDNA. That information has already been discussed, so I'm not going to go through that. So if you are available to volunteer, I will be sending that email out. I'm in contact with Connor, who's doing it over at Bridge Street. So you can just respond and connect with me at the board office, and I will get you the information that you need to be able to go out and canvass. Next, you all, the board members should have received an administrative memo from Borough Hall regarding some rule changes Borough Hall's looking to make, which aim at clarifying their responsibilities as borough president to community boards. So I just want to make it very clear, these rule changes are introductory and discussions will start between Borough Hall and community boards as they start to formalize these rule changes. I also just wanted to take a quick chance to thank Primo and also Ronald Banks. We were at Tivoli Towers on January 7th. The Public Safety Committee, in partnership with the FDNY, did a fire safety table at Tivoli Towers, which received a lot of foot traffic, especially in the front of Tivoli Towers. So I just wanted to thank them for coming out for that, and also thank the FDNY for putting that together. Let's see, that's already passed, so that's that. He's going to mention that in his report, so I can move on. The community board applications are still open. They're open until February 14th. As you probably know, or if you do not, the application online and Word copy is available in the news section on our website. So if you know of anyone who's interested in applying for the board, they can go there to get it. Definitely encourage any of the resident committee members who are on the committees. If you have the capacity, definitely would encourage you to apply to the board as well. Let's see. With that, we will be holding another Learn About Your Community Board session for anyone who's interested. We'll be having that session on February 1st. That will be via Zoom. Those login credentials are already on our website. As you may know, or if you do not, the MTA will be holding its Brooklyn Bus Network Redesign Public Workshop specifically for Community District 9 on February 7th at 6:30. I think it's like 6:30 to 8:30. The MTA is hosting that workshop. So if any questions that need to be directed directly to the MTA, that information is on our website. You can just go and click, and then that will send you into their workshop. Remember, tax day is April 18th in the United States. CB9 will be partnering with the New York City Department of Consumer Worker Protection on March 30th, 2023 to host a free tax prep workshop. That tax prep workshop will commence at 7 p.m. Via Zoom. That information's already up on our website. I just wanted to make this note that I did send out an email, and I hope that some of you were able to attend the New York City Council Committees on Health, Consumer and Worker Protection, and Oversight and Investigations held a joint hearing regarding the proliferation of unlicensed smoke shops in New York City. That was held on January 18th in the City Council chambers. We do not get notice of these types of hearings, so I would encourage anyone who has the time, if you go through the City Council calendar, you can see what types of hearings they're going to have. If you see hearings that are specific to the committee that you're on, I would definitely encourage you to send that out and let your committee send it to the board office, let us know, but also bring it up in your committee meeting. So, if you have the capacity to attend, you're able to go on to those meetings. The preliminary budget hearing for CB9 will be taking place right before our general board meeting in February. Information was already sent out. I will continue to send out information regarding the preliminary budget for the city of New York. It's a lot of information. So the document, I'm not sure who still has their mic on, but if you have your mic on, please mute it. The information is a lot. The file is essentially too big to send via email. So that information was sent out to the board members and resident committee members. Anybody who is interested in the information, I can direct them to the webpage where they can download the information themselves. I just have them reach out to the board office and we can get them that information. Just with respect to the committee minutes, Debbie, your committee minutes were submitted. They're in our server. They're just not up on the website yet, and they weren't obviously sent out to the board. We will make that correction and send those out. Apologies from the board office. I just want to note, as it pertains to the committee minutes, we only send out minutes that we receive. So if you look on the website and you see no committee minutes, it's likely we did not receive them. When we get the minutes, we try to work in a hasteful manner to get them up on the website. But my apologies for some of the committee meeting minutes not being sent out today with the package. We will, with ease, send them out tomorrow. If you have any questions, please reach out to the board office. And with that, oh, and there was one other thing. I think it was Ms. Westerdahl. I think it was you that had reached out to the board office regarding a function on the website where you can essentially click something and it can add to your calendar. I did reach out to OTI and they're in the process of creating that. So once they get that created, I've already asked for that to be put on our website. So I just wanted to give you that update. With that, Chair, that's the finale. That's the finish of my report. I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we will take a few questions for the district manager. Please use the raise hand function. One second, we're gonna create a speakers list. Ms. Moses, I see your hand. Hold on one second. Let me finish the speakers list. Ms. Timothy, I see your hand. On. Are there any other questions for the district manager?
I don't have a question, Mr. Chairman, but I do want to add something to what was said about the fraudulent things that are happening in our community. I just want members to note that if your credit card, they're sending you a new one, need to be careful, because I know of 6 members of my family whose credit card was taken before we even got it in our mailbox here, and it was used. So either it's coming from the post office or it's coming from the bank itself, but the credit card never get to your home. But you would get a bill stating that the credit card was used, but you don't have the new card. It never reached you. So that's something to pay attention to. Maybe to call the bank and let them know if your card is due to be renewed,
pick it up at the bank and not let it come to the mail because they're taking them out. Thank you.
No, thank you for that announcement. Okay. All right. So for the speakers list, I have Ms. Moses, Ms. Timothy, and Ms. Chung, and we're going to close on Ms. Chung. Yeah, Ms. Moses.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't know where all these minutes are, but I don't think my computer is broke because I'm not receiving all these minutes that people are saying that they submitted. I didn't get anything, Dante, in terms of you said you submitted some minutes. I didn't see anything. So I don't know where it is, but I don't have it. So I just would like that to be some improvement in that area because I don't know what's going on.
Thank you for that comment, and I will have a conversation with the district manager. We need to make sure that there's accountability of this. The standard is all listen, as soon as the meetings are done, those committee meeting minutes are supposed to be submitted within, I believe, 3 days afterwards, correct? I'll confirm the standard on that, but that'll be communicated to all the board chairs, and we will be making sure that we're tracking that, and it will be reported at the executive committee meetings from now on. It's necessary. We need for the chairs to make sure they're adhering with that. By that same standard, the district office team is going to make sure that they're doing what they need to do to make sure they're published and available as they're supposed to be. But thank you for the comment. Ms. Timothy.
Oh, just want to thank Dante for the update on the EPC meeting minutes. Thank you.
Of course. And yes, let me just quickly say, I hear you, Ms. Moses. I will have a conversation with the staff. An email you should have received, well, at least I received it like right at 4 o'clock, maybe 3:56 is what mine's showing. It has the district service cabinet meeting minutes in it. But I hear your sentiments, and I'll take necessary action. Thank you.
Okay, we will see Ms. Chung, and we'll close on Suki.
Dante, you mentioned something about rule changes from the borough president's office. Did you send out something about that? Because I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, so that was sent out, I would say probably maybe even prior to exec. What I'll do is I will go ahead and just send it out again so it's fresh on everyone's box.
Okay. And the second thing is, I know that in PLG, in the southern half of the community, we would be very interested in having a fire safety event. I think we were kind of thinking that we didn't want to do it indoors, but it sounds like you guys managed to do the event at Tivoli outdoors.
It was indoors. It was in the front lobby. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you identify some spaces, let me know, reach out to me, and we'll work in contact with the FDNY to make some.
Definitely. And also with respect to public safety, I know I've been seeing reports in the news of some disturbing violent crimes in my neighborhood. Like there was the jeweler on, I think, Winthrop in Flatbush who got mugged as he was leaving his store. Are these issues being addressed with the 71st precinct in your meetings?
That specific instance was not brought up.
Okay.
Without a doubt, can reach out to the 71st. I'll reach out to Detective Barada.
Dante,
hello?
if you want me, I can.
Yes, please.
I know that for a long time we had a patrol car in the corner of Parkside and Flatbush because there were just repeated incidents there, and I don't know if they're still there, but I think it's probably a good idea.
Okay. All right. I'll connect with you offline. And did you have additional information?
I was just gonna say, we've been having a member of the PD come to each one of our public safety committee meetings so far to speak about crime across the district in general. I'd say the big highlights, I'll swear I'll take less than 30 seconds, are that almost every crime statistic is up about 30% on average versus the year previous, but 2021 was the lowest year for crime on record in New York City.
All right, thank you for that. All right, I think that's it for
Okay, all right, thank you very much for your report. At this time, we're going to move on in the agenda to the treasurer's report of the treasurer. LeBeau, do you have a report for the board at this time? Oh, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. That was a thumbs up, right, Fred?
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'm going to skip some of the budget snapshot because for the sake of time, I know we have bylaws this evening. And the snapshot was included in the packet of materials that went out to the board prior to this meeting. So I'll just take a minute then to instead speak briefly to Friends of. Friends of is a separate entity from Community Board 9, but it is something that we are starting to get up and running so that we can eventually be like this other community boards across the city that have a nonprofit to supplement some of their budgetary matters and some of their projects and initiatives. So we, in the last couple of months, we have been pre-approved to receive grants from Albany's Criminal Justice Division. And we have also put our key tax-related and foundational documents online so that they're more easily accessible instead of having hard copies. We also agreed on some updates in the process of updating our foundational documents, and we're working on a memorandum of understanding with the nonprofit Greater Direction, for whom we will be acting as a fiduciary on a grant that they are going to receive from Albany. Warren and I are meeting with this nonprofit on Friday to continue that process, and I will have another update on Friends of in March. Thank you. Let's see the rest of my time.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the treasurer at this time? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much for your report. Okay, at this time, we're going to go to the chairman's report. I'm going to try to be brief. We have a lot of things going on in the district, in the borough, and a lot of things are going to be coming up in 2023. So I'm going to try, to avoid some of the things that have been discussed either through committee reports or by the district manager. But let me start with this. One is a conversation regarding the committees and attendance in general. So one of the requirements of participation in the board is attendance and participation at committee meetings. So the district office has already started the process of identifying those members of committees who are not attending. We are going to begin the process of removals. So those members, we had inquired from all the chairs to let us know those members who have been delinquent in attendance. We are going to be moving to remove those members from the rolls as of the end of this month. So by January 31st, the rolls will be cleared from those people who are not attending. And this is something that's very serious because it's something that's come up a number of times in terms of one of the things we need for people to do is show up when you're supposed to show up. So that's one of the initial actions that we're going to be taking. Additionally, we are also going to be moving to bring formal written service of charges for removal to board members as well for non-attendance. Non-attendance, as defined in our bylaws, is either 50% or greater non-attendance at a number of board meetings or non-participation in the committee meetings. So there are a number of board members, they will be contacted, that notice will be given. It is definitely not a pleasant part of the job, but at the same time, we have to be respectful of all the time of the board and the members of the residents who are putting out, who are showing up and making sure that we're able to get the business done. Transportation, we were scheduled to have a town hall that was scheduled for January 30th. We're having some issues or logistics that we're trying to correct. So in the interest of making sure that this is something that is going to be widely attended and we're able to get the audience that we need and be able to get the feedback from the community, we're going to be pushing that back. So from January 30th, we are looking tentatively at a date of, I believe, February 17th. So you will get a new save the date, and we will be reaching out to let everyone know in terms of the logistics. We're encouraging everyone to come. This particular town hall is with respect to the Flatbush Avenue corridor and some of the changes that they're proposing in terms of, improving bus service there. So specifically for the B41, and I guess whatever other adjacent bus lines run on Flatbush Avenue at any given point. this is important because this is really one of those rare shots that we have an opportunity to tell people, to tell DOT and the various agencies what it is we need to see in our section of the district, especially with regards to improving bus service on the Flatbush corridor, which can be a nightmare at any given time of the day.
February 23rd. That was the 23rd, yes.
My apologies, correction. The 23rd is when we're looking at doing that. Also, I wanted to address very briefly in terms of unlicensed smoke shops. So as the district manager had said, there was a hearing that was done on that. We've already gotten a number of complaints about the proliferation of the smoke shops. And I think that, most members of the community have heard a lot of news in terms of busts, people selling stuff illegally, what's the appropriate licensing scheme, how does the community have input? So we're having a number of conversations with that. I want to thank the district office team because they've already gone personally to a number of locations as well in terms of engaging them and making sure that they're in compliance with all the rules and regulations around marijuana or any of those products. So we are having additional conversations. Board members should have received information regarding workshops for the board in terms of what the process is going to be for this. So please look out for those, and as many board members as possible, we encourage you to attend so that way we are educated on the process and how this potentially may roll out in the district. Let's see, I think. Yes, just as a quick update, so Borough Hall has been, during their State of the Borough address, had mentioned a comprehensive plan that they are developing, in the process of developing. So there was a workshop that they have done. It has been discussed during the Borough Board meeting, which I attend on behalf of the board as the chair. The next stage of engagement is supposed to be community level engagement. So I would also please ask everyone to please look out for that, so that way when it comes to the district, you're able to ask the questions and we can make sure our considerations, our district specific considerations are included in any consideration of any plan, for the borough. Shortly, we are going to be considering the bylaws. This has been a process that's been going on for a while. I thank all those board members who've submitted proposals. I thank all those board members who attended the informational session that was held last week. And definitely, I want to say that, this is not something we're going to cure, not even tonight. The bylaws haven't been significantly revised since 2008. So we have 15 years of catch up to play. The expectation is fully not that we're going to all of a sudden do it tonight. There's the saying that how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. So this will be a deliberate process. It'll be a thoughtful process. It'll be something where we're listening to all those viewpoints. But again, I think at the end of the day, what we want to be able to do is move forward and be in a better place than we are currently. In some places, we may stay pat. In some places, we may see that there are efficiencies, and in some places, we may see that there may be some enhancements that are required. But that's going to be the process, and we're committed to having that, and we're committed to making sure that the voices of the board members are heard as well. And lastly, after this, we will be considering the Guyana Avenue co-naming, and that application has been submitted, and we'll be hearing that shortly. So with that, I'll conclude my chairman's report. I will take questions at this time. Okay, I will take a list. I see Rabbi Berman. Are there any questions? Any other questions?
I don't have a question. I have a 5-second comment. After
Go ahead, we'll create the list. Mr. Fulton, I see you. We'll recognize you after Rabbi Berman.
I just wanted to note that the smoke shop across from Medgar Evers College Prep on Nostrand removed the weed plant with Rick and Morty on it. So that's a start. They heard our conversation, Fred. So we'll just keep you apprised of that moving forward.
Thank you very much for that. Okay. All right, Rabbi Berman, I saw. No, Rabbi Berman, your hand is down. Did you want to address?
No, I have a question now. You called me. Quick comments. I just want to suggest, I wasn't really clear to me whether you're going to be removing people from the board or starting that process. So I just want to suggest that if there was somebody with significant non-attendance, before you start the process of removing, the board office just calls them up. It's listen here. you haven't attended, we're gonna start the process of removal and give them an opportunity to resign. I've seen that in the bylaws of other community boards. Will both be, it will save time for the board and will also prevent embarrassment to that individual. And it's, you know, it's fairly common with other boards. And I think that if in fact we're planning to remove somebody, should give them that opportunity. That's point one. Point two is, I think one of the challenges with both what you're suggesting and some of the bylaw amendments is that the bylaws do allow, and so does the charter and other legal documents, to be excused for cause, whether it's illness, whether it's something else. And there's really no way for the board to know or the community to know whether somebody was excused for cause or whether they weren't. So you'll have somebody who was gone for 6 months and all we know they're on chemotherapy and they let the board office know and it's just not documented. So I think that going forward with the bylaws, whichever direction we go, there should be, as I think it was Board 17 in Manhattan, I saw it, there should be some way of documenting people's attendance and whether they were excused for cause or not. So when we review an application, review whether to remove somebody, we have all the information, it's transparent, and it's not, you know, on somebody's personal email somewhere. We don't really know all the facts. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. With respect to that, just very brief comment. This is one of those things, as I said before, that's one of the more unpleasant things in terms of sending those letters out. I take it very seriously, but I also understand and recognize we're human beings, and to your point, we have lives. Life sometimes does intervene. And fully understanding that, the one thing I do want to say is, before we've come to this, I mean, I've had conversations with the district office, and we've made a number of phone calls on a number of occasions, sent out a number of communications. So this is not something where we say, okay, 1, 2, 3, you hit the number, and all of a sudden we send out an email. Typically, there have been communications. But what this does is it starts the process, and part of the communication that goes out is to contact. Please make sure all our mics are muted if we're not speaking. Is to please make sure they contact the district office or myself and let us know if there's an exigent circumstance that we don't know about. So, I mean, listen.
These are private. You're saying these letters now are private still.
Say it again?
These letters are private correspondence, really.
They go directly to the members, so it's not a public thing where we put it on a board.
Got it.
It goes to the member. The member is given an opportunity to come and address the executive committee and the board, so they have that opportunity. If there are conversations that they would like to have more privately, they can reach out for that as well.
So all I'm suggesting is if somebody is of significant non-attendance, you let them, give them the opportunity to resign before we start the process.
We discuss whatever options are there. I mean, so that's always an option. I've in the past made the recommendation because I understand sometimes it's just not a commitment people can do at a certain point. And that's not a reflection on them or their commitment to the community. Sometimes you're right, it is better to just resign and you come back at another time. But we need to make sure we clear the roster because those do have impacts on our ability to do the business of the board. All right, Mr. Bolton, I thought I saw Mr. Bolton's hand up.
Yes, my hand was up. I'll waive my comment and I'll just send you a private email, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Pruitt, we had closed, but I'll see you. You're the last one, though. Nobody else. You're muted.
Mr. Pruitt, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Now we can.
Okay. I wanted to go back to the earlier part of your comments, the chairman's report relative to the 41 bus changes that are due up. I was wondering if the granular nitty-gritty details is going to be grassroots created, or is that going to be a government involvement? I guess what I'm asking is the core idea, I guess what I'm asking is how much is the grassroots, the lay citizen who rides that bus every day is gonna have a chance to participate in the changes that's coming?
There's a number of ways that input is being solicited from the board. So let me just go back a little bit. So DOT, the city, MTA, they have already, this is a project that started from last year, May, June. So they've started their own outreach in terms of trying to let people know about what they're doing, some initial feedback and things of that nature. The only challenge with that is we're not a part of that process specifically. So what we are trying to do is on the district level, from the grassroots, as you're saying, we're trying to get the information in terms of what are the issues we see on the ground in CB9 as far as the B41 is. So that's part of the reason why we want to make sure that we're as effective as possible in reaching out to the district to find out what the problems are, what are the pain points, and get suggestions for what they need to see in terms of improvements. So we want to look at is pedestrian safety, how's that being addressed? Conversations have happened about bus lanes through, in certain portions. We want to discuss how that affects us in the whole in terms of Flatbush Avenue, but specifically in the district because Flatbush gets very narrow within CB9 as well. So what are the impacts on that? Loading zones, how does it affect the merchants? Residents who park on Flatbush Avenue, how does it affect parking and things of that nature? A lot of questions that we don't necessarily have the answers to, but we want people to start chiming in terms of what kind of.
Would the average Joe Blow resident citizen have more weight talking to us or talking to the transportation committee? I mean, talking to the government.
Hard to
or
say.
the MTA.
The problem is it becomes a blind. If it goes directly there, we don't know what anybody said, and we can't speak to what the district said. If we do it on this level, we can speak for CB9 for the district.
Yeah, I know that just going up and down the neighborhood, and I live off of Flatbush between Lefferts and Church, beyond the core area of Prospect Lefferts Garden, and people are pretty uptight about this plan, and I hope they come out and express their views. That they're talking about the narrowest part of Flatbush. From one rumor being dedicated, losing a lane totally to buses, and people, there's a lot of rumors, and what if this happens and what if that happens going on, and so I just want to have something to tell people. They shouldn't fear anything. That they're expressing their viewpoint, and then no matter who talks to them, correct?
But that's the point. I'm not sure who they're expressing it to, and I think this is probably a little bit more nuanced conversation that we can have offline. But to leave it at this, I think it's important for us as a district, as a board, to make sure we gather the facts as best as we can from our district. Speak for ourselves. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so that concludes that portion of the agenda. We are now going to go into the voting items. We are going to go to the first item. We reshuffled the agenda. So the first item that we'll consider is the street co-naming request for Utica Avenue. So the materials, Dante, have the materials been forwarded? Well, actually, this was presented to the Transportation Committee. So the presenters that you saw this evening spoke before the Transportation Committee, and they presented their materials along with support from elected officials. The Transportation Committee voted unanimously to adopt the recommendation, to approve the application for the street co-naming. This is also presented to the exec, which also voted in favor of it as well, and it is here for consideration by the board. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adopt the recommendation of the Transportation Committee to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Nicholas Almanor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I hear a second by Michael Lifer. Okay, the floor is now open for discussion. Are there any questions to the motion?
Can we elaborate why? If you could, please.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Can we talk about why the entire, from the distance from Eastern Parkway to Avenue H? Can we?
Yeah, I think their request was for that stretch of Utica. I think that part of their presentation was that they have significant Guyanese presence along that stretch, which is the reason why they were requesting that. So they've come to CB9 to request our portion of that, which extends from Eastern Parkway to about Clarkson. So I believe that, and they're engaging other community boards along that stretch similarly, and everyone will be making a decision whether they think it's appropriate for this stretch of the road.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I did see a hand raised. I think it went back down. Are there any other questions with respect to the motion?
Yes, it's Warren. Has any other community boards approved this?
I do believe 17 approved the request. I believe they
Okay,
approved
thank
it
you.
in 17 and they're engaging the other boards.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions regarding the motion? Okay, hearing none, we are going to call the question. We need to make sure this is recorded as well. Mia, can you call the roll, please?
Kyrie Elaine.
Am I voting now?
Yes, this is for the.
Yes.
Let me vote.
Okay, and this is on the first, okay.
Right, this is for the street co-naming.
This is for the street zoning?
The street co-naming for Utica Avenue from Eastern Parkway South to Clarkson North to Guyana Avenue.
I say no.
Thank you. Nicholas Almanor.
In favor.
Stuart Balberg. Mr. Balberg?
I think he's in the attendees.
Yeah, he's a phone
He's
number.
here. He's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Mr. Balberg, you've unmuted. What's your vote?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Baptiste?
In favor.
Naomi is absent. John Beckles Jr. Absent. Hold on 1 second.
Not let Kevin eat all of his chicken.
Sorry, guys. 1 second. This is horrible. Beckles Jr. absent. Rabbi Yaakov Berman.
Yeah, yes.
Warren Burke.
Yes.
Augustine Blackwell. Absent. Celeste Chase. Celeste Chase.
No, because I don't know the composition of the neighborhood and the length of the block, the naming.
Understood. Suki Chung.
Yes.
So Aquarius absent. Jamie Eckstein.
In favor.
Matthew Fulton.
In favor.
Tessa Hackett Vieira.
As a proud Guyanese daughter of the soil, absolutely. Amen.
Thank you. Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez. Bishop? I'll come back to her.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Abina Hutchful.
I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thanks. Primo Lasana.
I'm in favor, and I stand with Tessa Hackett Vieira.
Mina.
In
Michael Liebert.
Yes.
Matthias Limburger.
Yes.
Courtenay LaSalle.
Yes.
Christian LeBeau. Letwine Mavina,
In favor.
Erin Mazursky,
In favor.
Vivian Morgan,
I'm sorry, Mia, this is Chris. Did you hear my
Yes.
vote in favor?
no, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
In favor.
Thank you. Vivian Morgan. Patricia Moses,
Yes.
Beverly Newsom,
No.
Yankee Pearson is absent, Rio Peerbooms,
Yes.
Ted Piccotti, absent. Milford Pruitt,
Yes.
Nella is absent. Dexter is absent. Felice Robertson, Felice Robertson.
In
Rashida
favor.
Sadiq. Thank you. Rashida Sadiq.
No.
Rashida Sykes. Absent. Debbie Timothy.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Present.
No. All right,
Oh,
voting.
yes.
in-
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Linda Watson Lord.
Yes.
Teresa Westerdahl.
In favor.
Thank you. Lorian Mosley. Lorian Mosley.
Absolutely.
Cheryl Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. Chair, give me one moment to calculate. We have 29 votes in favor.
How many opposed?
Opposed, 1, 2. One moment, Chair, sorry for that.
Right.
3 in opposition.
And 3 in opposition. And I didn't hear any abstention.
Could I say something?
Yes.
I think you had 4 in opposition. I think it was Kyrie, Miss Chase, Miss Newsom, and
Kyrie
Mr.
was no or yes?
No, he has said no. He's the first.
Yes, my vote was a no.
My apologies. So that's
okay.
3 and 4.
That's the renaming of Eastern Parkway from Utica to Avenue H as Guyana Avenue, correct?
Utica from Eastern Parkway to
Correct, yes.
the
Clarkson.
boundaries of our district, Clarkson.
Yeah, I said, yeah, no.
My apologies. So that's
No
28.
problem.
Thank you,
Perfect.
Ms. Watson Lord.
Thank you.
Okay, so the count is,
So that would be 28 in favor.
28 in favor, 4 opposed. 28 in favor, 4 opposed, the motion carries. The board has approved the application, and we will forward that to the affected council members. Okay, thank you very much for your consideration. All right, we are going to go on to the next item, voting item, which is for the letter of support for the Flatbush Avenue bid merger. So for background for this, the Flatbush Avenue bid south of Clarkson is moving to hold on. Actually, Warren, if I would ask if you could speak to that, just to give the board the information with respect to the bid merger.
Sure. Basically, the Flatbush Avenue bid is merging with the Church Avenue bid, and one block from Clarkson, I believe, to Parkside is included in their present bid. So they needed an approval, and this affects one block of our Merchants Association, of our merchants, to get the merger through. And basically, it brings more grant money to our merchants.
Okay, thank you. So, so that is the matter before the board. Do we support the merger of the bid? And if we do, we will provide a letter of support indicating such. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the letter of support. Moved by Michael Liburd. Do I have a second?
Second.
I hear a second. Moved and properly seconded. Is there any questions? Any unreadiness?
Chair, I move that we do this by consensus.
I do see unreadiness. There are 2 members who raised their hands. Mr. Almanor and Suki Cheong, is there anyone else who has unreadiness? Please raise your hand now. We're going to, Kyrie Aline, I see your hand. Are any other members with unreadiness? Please raise your hand. Let's see, Almanor, Cheong, Kyrie, you put your hand down? You have a question? Okay. So we see Mr. Almanor, Ms. Cheong, and that we'll close the speakers list after Ms. Cheong. Mr. Almanor.
Yes, for this bid, I'm particularly concerned because the 50th pass of Flatbush Avenue is from Empire to Parkside. This merger will bring a lot of resources that would keep that stretch clean, but it's only going to go 1 block. It's going to go from Clarkson to Parkside. So since we understand this is a merger of the Church Avenue bid and the District 17, the other bid, what can we do as a community board to get the rest of that Flatbush Avenue into a bed? Because I think that would change the character in there. I walk that block almost every day. And it's one of the, that stretch from Empire to Parkside is the filthiest there is. I know Councilman Richard Georgia had engaged a couple of, I think there's a group called ACE. They've done some cleanup, but that's not enough. And I think we as a board, we should try to engage the merchant in that stretch to see how can we get a bid there. But I know there's a very dormant merchant association that, and I think our our business development committee should really pursue and try to really organize the merchants there so we could get a bid for the rest of that stretch.
Points are taken, and that'll be a separate work that we have to do. But before the board is the approval of that stretch of the bid that is within the Flatbush Avenue bid. But point taken, and I think that's work that's being done through the Economic Development Committee. Ms. Cheong, we close on you.
So just quickly to say to Nicholas that Councilmember Joseph has told our community at a community meeting for Lefferts Manor that we can call her office if we see any particular spots that need work. So I would urge you to do that whenever you see it. I mean, it's just something that I think needs to be done weekly. And they'll send the ACE cleaners. They're also supposed to be doing 6 day a week, twice a week litter basket pickup. So if that's not happening, you should probably let them know as well. The second thing is, what does the community board have any statutory, do these bids have any statutory obligation to get approval from the community board for what they do, or to get approval from the city for what they do? It's a very confusing structure to me, because it seems, on the one hand, entirely private and run by private property owners with some participation by merchants. But on the other hand, they're like kind of using tax money. And what's the legal framework behind all of this? Should we be commenting on it? It's only one block of our community board. Can you clarify that?
That I don't have information on that. Dante, do you have any information with respect to that?
I do.
There you go.
Go ahead, Warren.
Okay, Suki, there was a Flatbush Merchants Association probably for about 5 or 6 years, ended about 2 or 3 years ago due to non-participation. In terms of the structures of the
No,
bid,
but we're talking about the Flatbush Avenue bid and the Church Avenue
Suki,
bid, which are
Suki,
existing
Suki.
bid. What I'm asking you about is the bid structure.
I was just going to get to that before you cut in. So in order to do a bid, it's a very complicated process. I know that the Flatbush Avenue bid is working with Pratt Institute, and basically it amounts to, in order to become a bid, you have to have the majority of the merchants vote for it as well as financially support it. And that did not happen. As far as the future goes, there's always the opportunity.
Right. Part of that question
Warren, you're talking about
Yeah,
my question is about the merger that's before us, not whether or not there's going to be a Flatbush Avenue bid in our section.
Well, the merger before us.
My question is for the section of Flatbush that does have a bid,
What? What's the question?
right? There's a section of Flatbush that has a bid, Church has a bid.
Yeah. And what's the question?
So the question is, is there any statutory requirement for these bids to get community board approval
if it's
for their
statutory, but
activities?
Suki, I
Is it
just
like
described
what
Suki,
what is the regulatory framework for this?
Suki, I just described the process for you. Okay, I don't know if it's statutory, New York City, etc. But in order to be appointed by a bid, the merchants of that geographic area, the majority have to vote yes. And the other part is they have to vote to financially support it. So a bid is not supported by, well, in terms of Flatbush, I don't know what they grant for security. It's not supporting the bid itself. But it's upon the merchants, okay, to agree to support it and to vote for it. So as far as the regulatory stuff goes, I have no idea.
So Warren, I think the question is this: who is approving the bid, and why are we required to provide a letter of support? I think that's the question, really.
I don't know. The answer to that question is the person who's giving the grant to the Flatbush Avenue grid. And as I said before, it is for increased security based upon what's going on with merchants and the shoplifting rate and the violence. And I don't know who is giving that bid, the grant. I assume it's the Small Business Association. And it has nothing really to do with regulatory or anything else. It has to do with receiving the grant from a party for the betterment of the community.
Okay, Dante, I saw your hand up. If you have something to clarify, and then we're going to close and we got to move.
Yeah, just a little clarifying. So I'm on the SBS website. It says phase 3 legislative approval after our agency, that being SBS, has approved the completion of the first 2 phases. Phase 1 is planning, phase 2 is outreach. The formal legal process begins. The process includes review, public hearings, recommendations, and votes by the local community boards, borough board, city planning commission, city council, mayor, and state comptroller.
Okay, so there we go.
Got it. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. All right, we are going to call the question now. Okay, all those in favor of...
No, excuse me, Fred. earlier when I had my hand up, you did mention my name, so that's when I lowered it. Because I thought I had made the list, not because I was lowering it. So I have something to say.
Go ahead, your question.
Thank you. So just to make sure, we're speaking about the Church Flatbush Community Alliance bid, correct? Yes.
Say that again?
It's like the Church Flatbush Community Alliance bid. And the only reason I'm asking that is because a lot of the commentary was just referencing the block from Parkside to Clarkson. But when I reviewed the deck in the PowerPoint, it's to my understanding that they actually are seeking 1.5 miles of space stretching from Flatbush to, I believe it's Flatbush to Coney Island Avenue, and then again from Flatbush to Cordelia Avenue. And I just wanted to make sure I'm correct. Is that what we're talking about? Not just the one block in Clarkson? Are we voting on that?
The one block in Clarkson is the block that's actually included as part of that bid.
Oh, okay.
That's the part in our jurisdiction that's included.
Yeah, yes, so that's the report, yes, we should say. I wanted to make sure, okay, thank you.
All right, so with that, we're gonna call the question. Is there any objection to common consent?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, no worries. Okay, fine. We'll call the roll. All right, Mia, if you could please call the roll for the bid letter.
Kyrie Aline,
No.
Nicholas Almanor,
In favor?
Stuart Balberg,
Yes.
Fred Baptiste,
Yes.
John Beckles Jr. is absent. Rabbi Yaakov Bourbon,
Yeah, I don't fully understand the process. I'm gonna abstain, not because I object, simply because I don't understand the process. Thank you.
thank you. Warren Burke,
Yes.
Celeste Chase,
Yes.
Suki Chung, Suki,
I abstain. It's one block of.
thank you. Jamie Eckstein,
Yes.
Matthew Fulton,
I'll also abstain.
thank you. Tessa Hackett Vieira,
Yes, I'm not clear on the process and I'll abstain.
thank you. Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez,
Yes.
Abina Hutchful,
I also don't understand the process. So I'm going to abstain.
understood. Primo Lasana,
Also abstaining from lack of clarity.
thank you. Mina? Look, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Yes. Gotcha. Michael Liebert,
Yes.
Matthias Limburger,
Yes.
thanks. Courtenay Loisel,
Yes, in support.
Christian LeBeau,
In favor? In favor, can you hear me?
yes,
Yep,
got
we
you,
hear you.
thank you. Letwan Mavina,
I abstain.
thank you. Erin Mazursky,
I also abstain.
Vivian Morgan, Pat Moses,
Abstain.
Beverly Newsome,
I abstain as well. I'm not clear.
Rio Peerbones,
Yes.
Ted Pilcati, absent. Milford Pewitt,
I'm abstaining.
okay, understood, thank you. Felice Robertson,
Abstain.
Rashida Sadiq,
Abstain.
Debbie Timothy,
Abstain for clarification purposes.
Linda Watson Lord,
Abstain. Don't understand exactly.
Teresa Westerdahl,
No, for clarity.
thank you. Lorianne Wolsey,
Yes.
thank you. Cheryl Wright,
Abstain.
thank you. Give me one moment.
All right, before we call the final results, the question I have is here, because this is a very large abstention vote. And it's mainly because there's a lack of, most of the people, most have said that there's a lack of clarity on this. I think the key is we have a bid that is on Flatbush Avenue. One block extends into the borders of CB9. That bid is looking to combine with another bid for economic purposes and economic benefit. Bids typically help us do some of the things we're talking about in terms of cleanup, street cleaning, lights during Christmas season, and a number of other things. This is not necessarily a bad thing. They are coming to the board because part of that process, because it's run through a city agency, they have to get approval from the boards that they reside within. So it's that one block portion that needs that approval from us. Yeah, that's the reason why they're coming to the board, and that's the reason why they've done what they've done. It's a small portion. And I think the concern or the question I have is whether we hold them back, because I don't necessarily see the downside with respect to that. This is going to come out to be very close, because I think there's such a large number of abstentions that this may fail because of that. I would ask at this time, are there any members of the board who wish to reconsider, given that information? Or is there any other additional information that's missing in terms of the process?
I
Well,
may,
Fred,
Fred, if you can answer some questions for me.
Right.
Let's try this, because I don't want it to fail because of a lack of understanding on the board. Let's try this before we finalize.
What is the
That's what it
current,
is.
what is the current, you can't, once you tell us the tally, we can't reconsider? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is before we finalize it, if there are members who wish to change their vote, we can do it.
Are you sure Mia, is Fred's request necessary?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
Is Fred's request necessary? Are there more, is it possible that there are more abstentions and no's than yeses?
Well,
Like it's Fred, I think you have to clarify to the board, also to the new members, when you're voting on something, there has to be more yeses than abstentions and no's.
I believe that's a
Abstentions
question
count
to
as a
the
no
chair.
in the votes. Correct.
No,
Well,
right?
let's hear the tally. Let's hear the tally, and then we can go from there.
Okay, Mia, what is the
I
what is
just
the
need
tally?
clarity.
Sure thing. We have 14 votes of yes, 16 abstentions, 2 votes of no.
So then, yes, so you need,
Right. So it fails because for lack of a majority. So because it's such a large abstention vote, I'm asking, so what is the information, that's necessary for us to do this?
Yeah, point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So that vote now has not passed. So is the process to put a new vote on the floor to start, so we can have this conversation, discussion?
No.
I'm asking the chair.
If members are, as we haven't moved on yet, if members are willing to change their vote, we can change the votes. I'm just trying to figure out if this is just a loser. I mean, if it's not there, it's not there.
Thank
But
you.
I don't want, because we don't understand it necessarily.
So Fred,
I have my
explain
hand
it to
up
us
as well.
again, please.
Okay, hold on. Let's do this very quickly. Very quick speakers list. Beverly, I didn't hear your voice, so I'm going to see you. Who else has questions? Please raise your hand real quick, and we'll try and answer them.
Celeste Chase has had her hand up.
Okay.
I'll just call them out. Tessa, Kyrie, Pat Moses, For right
Yes.
now, that's all I see.
Celeste, you got Celeste?
Assets list.
Okay.
4 persons. Okay.
I have 5. All right, let's do this. I have 5 people. Let's go first. Ms. Chase? What's your question?
Okay, so it's really not a question, but I think that the issue with so many board members not understanding and abstaining, and you called for a request for a potential change of votes, and I actually was thinking to change my vote to abstention. But in any event, if so many members don't understand what's before us to vote on, I'm not so sure that it makes sense to try to convince these people in such a short matter of time. I don't think that the questions have been adequately answered so far, and that's why you have so many abstentions. So I'm not sure if really at this point, if it makes more sense to put it over to vote to another meeting. But that's just my comment.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. Ms. Akavira?
Yeah, so Fred, basically there's the Flatbush bid and another bid is getting together financially. There's one block that's in Community Board 9 that overlaps.
Oh, Ms. Akavira, you froze.
She froze. She's frozen.
Will come around street cleaning.
We'll come, Ms. Akavira, you froze. We didn't get your point, you had frozen. Yeah, if you can unmute, we can get your point real quick.
Yeah, so it's just this one block that's in Board 9 that the bids want our approval around so that monies could come for street cleanups and the like.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Ms. Moses?
Yeah, I just need some understanding. I don't even know what committee this was in. I don't understand where it's even coming from. What committee was this in? I don't even understand where it's coming from.
This didn't come.
This is the first I'm hearing of it. I don't know what this is.
This is something that came as a request directly to the board in terms of a letter of support.
Yeah, but what committee did it go through?
It hadn't gone through a committee.
No, they presented to the Economic Development Committee.
Economic Development.
Yeah, that's not correct. They
Yes.
presented to the
Okay, so
EDC.
my question is, did they vote on it?
Yes, and it's in the minutes.
Well, we don't have any minutes, so I
You
just want to
do
know
from
what
us.
they voted on.
Excuse me, Pat, EDC is there.
So at any event, I'm gonna stand because I don't know what this is all about.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Newsom?
Okay, Warren, your committee voted on it. What did you vote?
Yeah, we did not have quorum, but the people who were there thought it was a good thing. Just to reemphasize, this additional money and grant is for security. And it's to provide more security on the street and for the merchants.
So when you say more security outside of NYPD, NYPD doesn't do that?
Correct. Correct.
Wait, why the question's in the forefront of my head, Warren? NYPD doesn't walk the block. That's a question. It doesn't sound like it, but it's a question. Secondly, does DSNY clean that block? And
I don't have it. You know, Beverly, I don't have an answer to either. In the PowerPoint that was presented to us, we all know that there's been a rise in crime against merchants in terms of shoplifting, etc. And this grant was to add private security to help the merchants.
Give me the block again, Warren, please.
It's just Flatbush between Clarkson and Parkside. I don't even know, to be open with you, this was done before any of us were here. And I don't know why there's one block in, but it's always been that way.
Okay. And the security is just for that block?
Well, the security is really, no, the security is for the whole bid, which will go
from okay, got
right.
Parkside
the
down
bid
to
stops
Flatbush.
at our border, it stops there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That one block is included in that other bid.
The only thing that concerns us is the one bit, with the one block.
And the grant comes from whom, Warren?
You know, I think it's the Small Business Association, but I have to
Yeah.
recheck on notes to say that.
Okay, Fred,
Yes,
I'm willing to switch mine.
okay. So you switching
Fred,
yours to yes?
I'm willing to switch my vote too. This is Tessa Hackett Vera.
Okay, this is Ms. Hackett Vera is a yes. Ms.
Yes,
Newsom,
I'm
you're
a
as well? Thank you very much. Kyrie, I did see your hand up before. We'll recognize you.
Muted. Okay.
1 second, my apologies. I was trying to unmute. So I would like to say something with regards to this voting process. I too have questions, which was going to say, I read the email that you all sent out, and I saw the PowerPoint presentation. I was just trying to understand, were they taking a part of that one block that they're taking from CB9? Would that forfeit any of our community residents, like those who live right in CB9, any benefits that they might give to the other members? But that was my question I had originally when I raised my hand. However, I do have something to say with regards to the changing of the votes. I understand everybody has an opinion and everybody can change, but we voted already. We already have so much more on the agenda. And I feel as though you are kind of coaxing everyone, or not necessarily just you as the chair, I mean, you led it, but everyone else is encouraging others to switch their vote and change their vote. We voted already, and the vote should move on. I don't think that we should go back and forth for this, because this is not fair. Thank you.
Fred, I would change my vote if you could clarify what I don't understand.
Sure. What is your unreadiness?
So I'm not clear about two things. First of all, I'm not clear whether they actually they have to appear before us, or it's just a process. But what I don't understand on the actual process is, I understand that there's a large bid, which CB9 has one block, where that was part. I don't really understand how the funds are allocated, and would CB9 lose independence or lose funding for other parts of the district by joining the larger bid? Like, I'm not, is there a limit in how many bids can be per district? Where's the money coming from, and whether there's any downside to a small part of CB9 joining a much larger bid, which includes other districts? If there's no downside, then I have no objection to changing to yes.
Right, there's no downside, and to be clear, that block is already a part of the Flatbush bid. So that's already there. So part of that block, they are part of an organization that brings cleaning, security, and all kinds of other stuff. What they are doing is looking to merge with another bid. So part of that means that there needs to be a letter of support. If there's some downside that we see that's going to be a part of that, then obviously we would vote one way.
But the part of CB9, they want to merge with a bid which is out of CB9, correct?
No. The bid extends out of CB9. So say it starts at Clarkson, it goes all the way down Flatbush. So just part of it ends up, the northern part of the tip of that ends up being in our district.
I get it,
Right.
but
And just
by
to
joining this other bid, would at a later date, would it prevent, who is responding?
Warren, they want to merge with the Church Avenue bid. And
Does that
because we
affect
have
future funding to other bids in CB9?
No, absolutely
No, it
not.
doesn't affect anything like that.
We don't have another bid.
There is no other bid right now. There
We
is no
don't
other
have
bid
a
on
bid.
the.
In the future.
No,
No.
it doesn't.
If it doesn't affect,
Hold on.
then I'm happy to change my vote to a yes. If there's no
Okay.
downside, then I'll vote yes.
Right, there's no
Can
downside.
you all answer the second part of Rabbi Berman's question, though? So I do agree with the first part, that yes, but there is no, it's vague, at least from what I was reviewing. It doesn't say for the future if it will penalize or hinder the residents of CB9 by us joining that bid. Like, will we forfeit any rights if they decide to build buildings there or storefronts there? Would our members, get jobs there first, or would we be able to live there first? Or store?
No, it doesn't hurt it. If anything, the establishment of the bid hopefully increases the economic activity on that stretch.
But you're saying
We don't have-
hopefully.
Say it again?
No, so that, no, I agree with you. That's a hopeful assumption, but I'm just saying from the text in which was submitted and we hadn't heard them present before us so that we could ask these questions, I would say that we all should say no, whether it's one block or not. We don't know what's going to happen in the future for our community and CB9. And that's a very prime block from Flatbush and Clarkson to Parkside. So I personally, I understood what Rabbi Berman was saying, and he also was asking the question.
But I'm satisfied with the answer. If Warren and Fred are, I'm happy to change to yes based on the response I got. And if other people aren't satisfied, that's fine. The issue that I needed clarification.
So you were satisfied with the answer, but you agree that your original question was not answered, which is, are our rights protected?
No, not at all, Kyrie.
I think it was answered.
Okay,
I
order
think
of the day, because we want to close this out very quickly, okay? So,
I
Kyrie,
just
we've
have
heard
one
your,
last comment.
we've heard your objections. Rabbi Berman, you're changing your vote to a yes?
Correct.
Okay, I see 3 last questions. We will take those, and the vote is the vote if nobody else is changing. Ms. Westerdahl, Ms. Chung, Ms. Almanor, Mr. Almanor, and we're going to close with Mr. Almanor.
I'm just looking at parliamentary procedure, Robert's rules. If you want advice or information to help you make your decision, move to refer the motion to an appropriate quorum or committee with instructions to report back. So I'd like to move this back to the Economic Committee and so we could discuss it further and report back.
I'll second that motion.
No, the only issue is, we've already passed that. We're voting. We're in the process of voting, so the vote.
Well, we voted already.
Yes, well, the only thing that's happening is
We
members
voted.
can't their vote, and members.
It's Robert's rules.
Members can change their vote. If this is something where we hadn't called the question and we're in voting, yes, we could have voted to refer it back to committee. We are in voting right now. So the only thing that can happen is we change votes, the votes are tallied, and it either fails or, it either passes or fails.
Okay, so if I would move that it be reconsidered.
Okay, you can't move.
It's not an appropriate motion. It's not an appropriate motion.
It's not appropriate motion. It's out of order because we're in voting right now. The only thing we're doing is considering if members are changing votes. Suki and then Mr. Almanor, I see you and we'll close.
So 95% of the area that's affected by this motion, in other words, the Flatbush Avenue bid and the Church Avenue bid, they're in CB 14. Has CB 14 voted on this yet?
I cannot speak to that. I don't know.
Okay, so I think first of all that I agree with Teresa, this should be moved back to committee. We should wait until CB 14 votes on this. Then we can comment. It really, like if it was something where it was 90% in our district and 10% in their district, I think that we'd want them to give us precedence. The second thing is, okay, what happens if they vote yes and we vote no comment because we have no clue? That's part of the problem. None of us are familiar with the Church Avenue bid. None of us are familiar with the Flatbush Avenue bid because they're really not in our district. We don't know their track records. We don't know their issues. We don't know why they're merging. We don't know if they should be getting this grant at all. Maybe they've done a terrible job. I shop down there and there's boarded up second and third story windows. It's dirty, it's noisy, it's one of the noisiest commercial districts I've ever walked through.
But unless you need some
I'm just saying, we don't know this, and the downside is we vote yes.
There's a clarification you need to change your vote, ask for that, and we'll give you the information. If you're not going to change your vote, then I just want to consider the last piece, and we're going to take the vote, whatever it is.
Okay, so has CB 14 voted on this?
Do not know. I do not know. Dante, do you know if they voted on it?
It went before their board, but I am looking on their website right now to try to do it, to try to figure out, confirm it. I know it went before them because the district manager.
And considering that we're almost always advisory. And second question, Fred, second question.
Changing your vote because otherwise we're going back and forth. Is that piece of information?
Okay, then second question, Fred, second question, considering that usually our votes are advisory, what happens if our letter or our resolution or whatever goes forward as no comment? Do they get denied this grant?
I don't know, but it's not even a matter of we vote no comment. We vote yes in support or no. That's the motion on the floor. The only thing we're doing is considering the vote to change it.
Or
All right,
possibly
Mr.
we
I'm
don't
gonna-
vote.
Suki,
Possibly
we
we
have
say
to
that
go
we're
on. We
not
have to go on.
voting.
Suki, we have to go on. If you're not changing your vote, understood, noted.
We
Mr.
don't need
Amador,
to
we're gonna
consider
close
the,
with
me-
Council.
yeah, we don't need to consider the merit of the question. This is purely procedural. It's either you want to change your vote or you don't. Whatever aspect.
Well,
the
I
reason-
haven't heard the answer to my second
But you
question,
know-
which is
no,
what
no,
is
no, no, no.
what is the actual
Before you
consequence?
get the answer to the question,
of-
you have to decide. It's a very simple thing. Whether you want to keep your vote
No,
or
the
consider your
question
vote.
that I want answered is
You-
what is the
if you're
consequence
ready,
of
but
Okay,
us
okay.
either voting no
No,
or
we're not,
not
okay,
voting
order of the
if
day,
CB
order of the day,
14
order of
goes
the day,
ahead and
order of the day,
votes?
Can I
order of the
please
day.
finish?
Mr.
If you-
Almanor, did you have a question? Did you vote?
My,
Okay, did you vote?
my
Did you vote?
question was, if the vote failed, let's bring it back up at the next meeting. That's all, because the motion, you could always bring the vote back.
That's the only thing, that's a procedural thing, and we have to see if, depending on who on the prevailing side wants to bring it back. Okay, but with that being said, okay, so are you changing your vote?
Me? No, I already voted in favor.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so with that being said, are there any other members who wish to change their vote to yes? Please say now. Okay, hearing
Oops,
none.
sorry. I wish to change my vote to yes. This is Abena.
Okay, please change Ben Hutchfield's vote, yes. Mia,
Mr.
what is-
Chair, point of order,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair. I
Yes.
just want to make sure for the record that this ability to change the vote once the votes have been cast is something that is okay to do. Just want to make sure of that.
Yes, no, it is.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mia, what is the final count?
I wanted to
the
change my
final
vote, excuse me, I wanted to change my vote as well to abstain.
Fine, please note Ms. Chase is an abstention.
And I just wanted to have one last question. And this is whether or not,
Vote because,
I
Okay, go ahead, I'm
realize that, Fred, but the one question is, if you would just entertain very quickly, is that I'm looking at the October 18th board or committee minutes, and I'm going back to Ms. Moses' question about whether or not this even got out of the Economic Development Committee, because I look at the list of people who were there and absent, and I really can't understand that. So that is still an open question, but nonetheless, and I'm not sure if we're going to get the answer to that, but I do want to abstain.
noted. Mia, what is our final count?
Thank you. It is that with the change made by Ms. Chase, that brings the total count to 17 votes of yes. That would be 13 abstentions and 2 votes of no still remain.
17 yes.
Yes,
Abstentions
13,
and 13 noes
yes, and 2 noes.
and 2 noes. Okay.
Passes.
Motion
I'm
carried. Okay.
Ms.
Okay,
Ms.
motion
Watson
carried.
Lord,
Yeah, I got cut off, so I want to change my vote to yes.
Okay, 18 yes. So 18 yes,
And-
12
and-
abstentions, 2 noes.
and 12 abstentions, 2 votes of no.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. All right, that is approved, and that'll be forwarded on. Okay, we are now going to go on to the final voting items. Okay. We are going to, I mentioned in my chairman's report, the first thing we realized is we're not going to get 19 done today. We are not. So what I would ask is the board's indulgence. We can enter into the session, do what we can. In terms of, you know, the motion, the ones that are there, if they require more conversation, they can be tabled. We can easily table them for consideration at another meeting. So at this time, first thing I would like to do, I would entertain a motion to limit consideration of the amendments, 20 minutes. And to limit all speakers to 2 one-minute speeches per amendment, and any amendments not considered this evening will be tabled for consideration at the February meeting. So it's whatever we can do in 20 minutes, and if it's not done in 20 minutes, it goes to next month.
That's,
Okay? The idea behind,
Motion, Fred?
yeah, I will entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Moved by Michael Library. Is there a second? Seconded by who?
Beverly.
Seconded by Beverly. All right. Discussion?
Can we limit discussion to 1 minute, Fred? Is there a precedent for that?
Anybody who speaks on it, you get a minute. You get a minute, and after everybody speaks, you get one more. That's it. 20 minutes, and we're going for 20 minutes after this. That's
What
it.
if-
After that, anything else is not done is tabled.
right. I have a question. Fred, you're leading this discussion, right? You're leading this for the 20 minutes?
If I have a motion on the board, I'm relinquishing the chair.
Well,
So there will be somebody.
point of order. So you said you're gonna
Hold
relinquish.
on. Before you
I have
do
a
that, no,
point
we
of
have a
order.
motion.
Point of
We have a
order.
motion on the floor. What is your point of order?
I would like to request that you remove yourself during this discussion due to a conflict of interest, seeing as most of the bylaws, proposed amendments are coming from you and pursuant to Robert's Rules of Order.
I've already stated that I will be relinquishing the chair for those portions where I have proposals. Any other questions?
So Warren's gonna be chair? Is that what's gonna happen?
No, we
Correct.
have to vote on that first motion first, and then that.
Right, we will,
then
we
your
will.
motion-
But that's the thing. The rules are 1 minute speech per member. You can only speak twice,
They
and
hold
20 minutes
time.
max. So at the end of 20 minutes, we are going to adjourn. Everything else will be tabled automatically.
Fred, what do you mean 1 minute twice? On each amendment or on the whole conversation?
No, on each amendment. So we're gonna go as many amendments as we can go. Whoever's gonna do it, you get 1 minute speech. If you have comments, 1 minute.
And then you said, and then we roll over after the 20 minutes?
After the 20 minutes, whatever's not done gets rolled over until next month.
Okay, and then Warren will also chair that too?
He's going to chair whatever motions. If I have a motion on the floor, he will take the motion.
Well,
to chair
my
for-
motion was for the entire process. So if we stop it for now and we continue it up again, that's the motion I made.
We need to vote on that first motion. Let's vote it and then.
Okay, so
we'll
let's
vote
go
on
and
the
vote.
motion.
Let's vote on Fred's first motion.
Okay, so are there any other questions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 What,
Aye.
what is the motion?
Aye.
I'm not even sure what the motion is.
20-minute conversation.
Yeah, the motion is to limit consideration of the amendments to 20 minutes and to limit all speakers to 2 one-minute speeches per amendment. Any amendments not considered this evening will be tabled for consideration at the February meeting.
Wait, so we have 20 amendments, 20 minutes for each amendment. Is that what you're
This
saying?
makes-
No. 20
No.
minutes to talk about amendments today, period. So whatever we don't talk about as of today, all the other amendments will get pushed over till next month.
So we're limited to 20 minutes for each one?
For,
No.
No.
one.
No, you're not telling it for each one. You have a total time span of 20
Of 20
minutes. Whatever not get done, let's say you only did 2, so you gotta do the rest next week. Next month.
Correct.
it is 10 o'clock, so I'm not sure why we are pressing on at 10 o'clock at night on amendments that have so many questions on them. So I would move that we
those-
put
You could
everything
vote no.
off to
Let's
next week.
proceed.
Okay, so then you'll vote no, but I think that this can't be done, and we are not gonna get everything done tonight, that is clear. So whatever we can do tonight, we will do. If it can't get done, it gets pushed. All right, so with that, are there any other questions? No, actually, I'm sorry. All those in favor, I heard ayes. All those opposed, please say no.
Question.
No,
We're
No,
voting, we're voting.
No,
no.
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 Roll call vote.
Roll call.
No, we don't need, I don't think we need roll call. Board members in opposition, please state your name.
Kyrie Allen.
Rashida.
Aaron
Amina.
Mazursky.
Oop, sorry.
I'm sorry,
That was Aaron.
Aaron Mazursky,
Yeah, that was Aaron.
Ms. Chase,
That's right, no.
correct. Who
Amina
else was in
Hashmo, no.
opposition?
I got you, Abina, yep.
Well, anyone else in opposition?
Matthew
West-
Ford is in
Wen
opposition.
Xiong, no.
Matthew
Whoa.
and Suki.
Suki, Ms. Westerdahl?
I voted no. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Okay, we're
Who's next?
confirmed. Thank you.
Rashida is.
I got you,
this whole
Rashida.
process is ridiculous.
Okay. Anyone else in opposition? Any other board members for the record? Thank you.
Okay, any abstentions? On for a second time, any abstentions?
Go for Pruitt is negative. My mute button was off and,
Okay, we got you.
We're voting no and yes for what? I mean, this is so combustible and confusing.
No or
I'm
yes
different.
to limit the conversation to 20 minutes and limit commentary to 2 minutes per person.
Oh, no.
We're just trying to end the meeting
Was
soon.
that Ms. Robertson, Felice Robertson?
Okay, yes, it is.
Thank you. Gotcha.
Okay, are there any abstentions? Oh, for the last time. Okay, hearing none. How many noes do you register? Actually, given the number,
10 members in opposition.
then we have a majority. We have a majority. So we're gonna continue 20 minutes times 10:05. We will conclude conversations on the amendments at 10:25. All right, I would direct the district office, please make sure you keep the timer on. Anyone speaking is limited to 1 minute. Make sure that everyone gets to speak for their 1 minute before anybody goes for their second time. Okay?
Chair,
All right.
point of order. I would like to
Yes.
make a point of order. I would like to
Yes.
make a motion of substitution for the original motion and ask that we vote on a bylaw committee that will just take care of all of this and bring it to the board whenever we're all together. So I would actually make a motion of substitution. I move for a motion of substitution of this original motion so that we can vote to have this go a month before a bylaws committee.
I second the motion. I second the motion.
Okay, it hasn't been recognized and you haven't been recognized. The motion is out of order. We've already voted to go into the session 20 minutes apiece. We've already voted, yes.
We haven't voted on going into the motion. I thought we just voted on a different motion, which you just did the same thing I was doing, which was you suggested a motion to change up the process. I'm suggesting a motion to change up the process. I'm not understanding. We never went into voting on anything yet, Fred. You remember you stopped us before doing so? So I would like to, again, make a motion of substitution. I would like to move that to go to a bylaws committee. That way we all, and it was seconded. So now we should vote.
I made a ruling as the chair that the motion is out of order.
How so, friend?
Because we are in business, it is out of order currently. Now, if you wish to challenge the ruling of the chair, you may do so. And by a 2/3 vote of those who are here, we can overturn that ruling.
You always trying to encourage others to change their vote. Okay, so back to the bylaws committee. Okay, so
I've ruled it out of order. You have the right to repeal
well,
the ruling
I
of
would
the
like
chair.
to challenge. I would like to make a motion to challenge your
The ruling of the chair has been that the motion is out of order because we have already begun business in terms of the vote. It's been challenged by member Kyrie Aline. So the question at hand is, will the ruling of the chair be sustained?
But how is it out of order, Fred? You haven't specified how. I did the same exact thing that you did. We
Because
haven't
the board,
begun to
it's directly contrary. The board just voted to consider the amendments, and now you're saying go to a committee. It's directly contrary.
That's a motion to substitute to your
Before
original
we go
motion.
back and forth, isn't that the
Okay.
second motion on the floor, Kyrie?
You're right.
Now we get a 2/3 vote and this is over. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. If you get a 2/3
Okay,
vote.
thank you. Kyrie, let's go.
So.
Okay. All right. So all those members of the assembly who wish to sustain the chair.
Somebody seconds.
Yeah, did somebody sustain his motion?
Second.
Ms. Westerdahl. Ms.
What do we
Westerdahl.
do? I did.
So can we just call the roll?
Fred, before you call the roll, I want to speak on the motion.
Yes.
I would like to speak in support of the chair's determination. Just to clarify, the difference that the chair did before is very different. He asked people to reconsider their vote. That's not what's happening here. The full board voted to consider the amendments for 20 minutes. We voted to consider it, and now you're voting not, you're making a motion not to consider it. I agree with the chair's determination. It is out of order. And according to Robert's rules, we should proceed with the 20 minutes discussion and votes. And I don't even know why anybody's challenging the chair's determination. I think it's completely out of order, and he's correct with his ruling.
I don't think so.
All right.
You require 2/3 votes.
So could I ask a question?
Oh my
Kyrie,
gosh,
is there a bylaws committee currently in existence?
No.
So you're proposing that one be formed?
Yes, just like we're
To
also.
start,
Yes.
to start from
It's not-
scratch, you're proposing now that a bylaws committee be formed, members be appointed to it, and they
Yes, Tessa, that's
handle
what,
the
that's what's
changing
always
of the
done.
bylaws.
Fred,
I'm
I
sure
think
you're
you have
very
to
familiar
clarify
that
what was
that's-
voted. I think it's not clear. We're not discussing whether it should be a bylaws committee or not.
Or
We're
not.
discussing whether or not his motion is out of order. That's the only question, not whether you want a bylaws committee. Once there was a motion approved by the board to go into discussion for 20 minutes and vote on the amendments, can somebody now make a new motion to make a bylaws committee in the middle of the process? That's the only question.
Okay,
not
okay,
whether
hold
you want a
on.
bylaws
So,
committee.
okay, hold on. Let us.
So can we
okay,
vote now?
Mia-
Because he made his
Mia, as
comments.
quickly as possible, please call the roll. If you are in favor of overturning it, you will vote no. If you vote yes, the ruling of the chair is sustained. You need a 2/3 vote. Mia, please call the roll.
Sorry, man. Thank you.
I don't know what,
Kyrie,
wait, before you do that, explain that again to me. I don't know what's going on.
Yes. So what I was asking
No,
was.
I'm asking
Not
the
the
chair.
chair.
What
Can we hear
was
from the
my
chair,
motion?
please?
Oh my
Can we hear from the
God.
chair?
Order of the
please?
day, order of the day, order of the day, order of the day, order of the day.
Oh my God, this is
Order of the day.
ridiculous.
Oh my God, it's
So
right.
the board just voted to do this for 20 minutes.
No, we
A
didn't.
motion contrary to what we just voted to move this to a bylaws committee was just made. I ruled it out of order. So the member has just made a motion to appeal the ruling of the chair that it is in order. So that is the question in front of the body right now. 2/3 vote, no, overturns the ruling and his question is valid. If you vote in favor, we continue on and we go for the 20 minutes.
Motion of substitution.
And I,
Robert's
out of
rules.
order. I ruled it out of order.
But,
So that is what's on, that is what is on. That is what is on right now. I've made a ruling. The board votes on it.
Yes,
Go ahead, Mia.
supports, no, it doesn't support you.
I don't
Yeah, if you
understand
vote
how
yes,
this
it
is
supports,
Substitution.
you know, the object, no, it's, you know, if you vote in favor, if you vote no, then we go to the, to his question about the bylaws vote.
Did we go to the what, the bylaws, what?
His
To
question
form a
his motion
bylaws
about the
committee,
bylaws
Pat.
committee is valid.
Oh, okay, only reason I asked is because I remember that the entire board already voted not to have one, so that's why I'm.
Thank you. I'm
We
wondering.
never
We did,
voted.
we
That's
did,
not
Yes,
which is
we
why I'm
did,
not
we
sure why
did.
it's coming
No,
up
we
now.
did
We
not
voted,
test.
we
it.
voted in
never
favor.
voted.
Okay, order of the day, order
We
of the
never
day, order of the
voted
day.
not to have a
Order of the
bylaws
day,
committee.
everyone.
You
Order of the day, everyone.
That's
Order
correct.
of
We
the day.
never did.
Mia, order of the day. Mia, please call the roll.
We never voted. for that.
That's not true.
Okay, Ms. Westerdahl,
members,
we're voting.
please listen
Oh
to
Y'all
your
my
voting.
name.
God.
Members of the board, please, when you hear your name called, vote yes or no.
Are people clear about what we're voting on right now?
No.
See, people aren't clear, Mr. Chair.
Understood. And this is one of the admonitions that we have to do here in terms of, we got to stay focused. The question was brought up, a motion was made by the member. I ruled the motion out of order because we had already just finished voting to do this process today in this manner. The member is saying that his objection, his motion is in order. I ruled it out of order. We are voting to say whether, okay, we're going with my ruling when that it's out of order. If you vote yes, his ruling is out of order and we continue on with the business. If you vote no.
Point of order.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Point of order.
What is your point of order?
Point of order. Actually, that other person made a motion to overthrow, and the yes vote would be sustaining and supporting that person, whereas a no would be supporting you, as I'm looking at it.
No. The question.
Does anybody here to correct me?
No. The question is, will the ruling of the chair be sustained? So in other words, are you going to back? Are you backing the ruling? Yes. Backing the ruling means it was overturned, that it was it's out of order. So yes means it's out of order. No means you don't think it's out of order. Mia, please call the roll.
So it's worse for Fred if it's this way. It's harder for him to win.
Yakov, in the interest of time, it's 10:15. May I call the roll? Members, stand by and place your vote. Kyrie Aline.
No, I do not believe, no.
Thank you. Nicholas Almanor.
Yes.
Mr. Balberg.
Yes.
Fred Baptiste.
Yes.
Rabbi Yakov Berman.
Yes, Fred, are you allowed to vote on this? I'm not sure, but yes, I vote yes.
Yeah.
I got your vote. Thank you. Warren Burke.
Yes.
Celeste Chase.
No.
Young. Suki. Jamie Eckstein.
Yes.
Thank you. Matthew Fulton.
Yes.
Tessa Hackett Vieira.
Yes.
Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez.
Yes.
Abena Hutchful.
Yes.
Primo Lasana. Mina Lagute.
Yes.
Thank you. Michael Liburd.
Yes.
Matthias Limburger. Matthias Limburger.
Yes.
Thank you. Courtenay Loisel.
Yes.
Christian LeBeau. Letwine Mavina.
Yes.
Mia, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Mia. I think I got muted and
fine.
unmuted, but my vote was yes. This is Christian
Thank
LeBeau.
you. Got you. Thank you so
Mia.
much. Letwine Mavina.
That
Aaron
was a
Mizer.
That was a yes for Latween.
Letwine. Thank you. Aaron Mazursky.
Yes.
Vivian Morgan.
She's still muted. She
Um,
texted me 10 times.
she needs to unmute and vote. Patricia Moses.
Yes.
Beverly Newsom.
Yes.
Yankee Pearson absent. Rio Peerboons. Rio Peerboons. Was that real?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cody is absent. Milford Hewitt.
No.
Thank you. Felice Robertson. Felice Robertson. Rashida Sadiq. Rashida Sadiq. Was that Rashida? I heard someone, but I don't hear that to be Rashida.
Abstain,
That
abstain.
was.
Hey.
I
Abstain?
said abstain.
Thank you
Yes,
so
I should
much.
abstain too.
Felice, abstention, gotcha. Thank you. Debbie Timothy.
Abstain.
Thank you. Linda Watson Lord.
Yes.
Teresa Westerdahl.
I vote no, and I would just like
Thank
to
you.
add that the people.
I'm
in-
sorry, Miss. I'm taking attendance. I'm so sorry, Miss Westerdahl. Hold your comment. Lorianne Wosley.
Yeah.
Lorianne Mosley, thank you. Cheryl Wright,
Yes.
thank you. One moment, Chair.
Mia, not to make your life difficult, please change mine to an abstention.
Okay, gotcha.
Happy.
Chair, I have 22 votes of yes, 4 votes of no, and 5 abstentions.
22 yes, 4 no, 5 abstentions. The decision of the chair is upheld. All right, we are now going to move on to the
May I
amendment.
say something? I just wanted to make it very clear. It's fine. I'm still going to speak if you don't allow me to get this out. It's fine. I'm still going to
We
speak.
need to move on.
Point of order.
That's fine.
Point of order. Order of the day. We are moving on. We are moving on. All right, I would ask the district office, please bring up the first set of amendments.
Can I just add something about the people on the phones? Please tell people *9, *6, whatever they need to raise their hands and speak, because people don't know. And many people have missed out on speaking on the phones in the past because they don't know. So please.
We are currently in business session though, so we're not recognizing from the audience right now. We are currently in business session. Okay.
No, it's
all right.
Morgan.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to relinquish the chair to First Vice Chair Warren Burke.
Hey, everybody. So just to set the parameters here, we have 20 minutes and the things we don't cover will be turned over to the next meeting. Just to review what's been going on. That basically we'll present the proposal. Dante will do that. The presenter will defend the proposal. Then there'll be a period of speakers who are limited to 1 minute to begin with. And then after the speakers are finished, there'll be another meeting. So let's proceed with that. Dante, can you show the first proposal? And who is it by?
Okay, you all can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I believe this first proposal is by Fred.
Yes, at this time, Chair, I wish to table this to the February meeting for further discussion.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the second proposal.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
No, there's
So
no
we don't
waiting a
vote on,
minute.
aren't we to vote
No,
on?
Kyrie, excuse me, you're out of order. When the person who proposes it wants to withdraw it, by all means, and we'll table it to the next meeting. Thank you. Let's go to the second one, Dante.
All right, the second one is also, I believe, by Fred.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, 1 minute speaks, right? Okay, so very quickly, this is just a text change. This is an addition, this is a new clause that we're adding to the bylaws. The the charter was revised to reflect that community board members are limited to only 4 consecutive terms. So this language is just simply mirroring the language of the charter, acknowledging that the board members are limited, and after which point they must have 1 year to reapply. So this just brings us
Thank you,
into
Fred. Dante, could you also, or Mia, could you please time each speaker?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
timing the speakers.
Thank you. Are there any people who wish to comment on this? And please do a list, Dante.
All right.
I'm on my phone, so I can't see here hands.
All right. All right. So I'm doing like 8 things, so bear with me, folks. I'm going to create a list. First on the list, we have Primo and then Rabbi Berman. And then Debbie Timothy.
Okay, so the first on the list is Primo. Dante, who's first?
Primo.
Okay, Primo, are you there?
Okay, I've asked
All
Primo
right.
to meet you.
Let's move on to the second.
Rabbi Berman.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I guess my only question is, there could absolutely no objection. You're just, adding to the bylaws what is already law elsewhere. So I guess my question is, what's the purpose? If it's already the rules and it really makes no difference whether it's in our bylaws, what is the benefit of adding it? I see a downside that if this is changed, we would have to change, meaning these bylaws will outlive any rule that may be changed at a future date. So if they take away this restriction at some later point, we will still have this restriction in our bylaws. If we keep it out, we just have to follow the rules that everybody else follows, like every other community board. Not every board in the city is changing their bylaws now. So what really is the benefit of adding this in? Again, I see a small risk, not a big risk. But what is the benefit of changing the bylaws if this is the law anyway, regardless of what we say?
Thank you, Rabbi Berman.
Thank you. Thank you for
Dante-
that. Next.
Dante, the next.
Yep, Debbie.
There was a question.
Debbie.
Yeah. There may be a benefit. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Okay. This is not to answer, but let's continue with the next speaker, and point is well taken.
All right, Debbie, then Mina.
Oh, I just wanted to add, to ask whether once the member is term limited, can they be added as a resident member? Or can that information be added in there for the time before they can apply after that year?
I can't answer that question, but it's a good
You have
point.
to open it.
I think that it can be added, so it's just
Yeah, well,
something that, it's
let's
just a
do this
suggestion.
offline, okay? I can answer it offline. So thank you. Next
Yay.
speaker.
All right, next we have Mina. Your
I can't hear
audio's,
you well.
You
your
have to
audio's,
open the
yeah,
door.
that's good.
You have to open the door. There's an ambulance over at Jefferson.
Oh, gee.
All right. All right. All right, next was Pat Moses.
Yeah, I would just wanted to read what was sent to me when I got reappointed. It said that you are eligible to serve 4 consecutive terms and must reapply for consideration at the end of each term. If you are initially appointed in 2020 or prior, you have already served 1 term. And that's dated March 25th, 2022 from our board. from Borough Hall.
That's correct. Just to remind everybody, this is a comment period and it's not a question and answer period. So please make your statements a statement and not a question. Pat, you were giving us definition and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Let's see, Mina, were you able to get yours? Sure. All right. So, and then Primo. Okay, Mr. Chair, that exhausted the list.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to vote on this proposal. Mia, could you, a yes means that you accept it, a no means that you reject it. Mia, could you please call the roll?
Warren, does the person who proposed have a chance to respond to any of the comments?
Not that I know of.
Well, actually, we can't speak twice, so we are allowed to speak twice.
Okay, so he does, but just for 60 seconds, Fred.
60 seconds. No, I think the point is well taken with respect to, is it necessary? I think it's just one of those things where as we codify it in the bylaws, it becomes something that we have to operationalize as well, which means we track it in the district office. So in terms of, we keep track, in the office in terms of the terms. And to the other question about, yes, people can become resident members as long as they are not members of the board.
Thank you. All right, so Mia, so a yes means.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, you're in the middle.
I should go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so a yes means we accept this proposal and a no means we reject it. Mia, could you please call the roll?
Kyrie Eileen,
Yes.
Nicholas Almanor,
Yes.
Stuart Balberg,
No.
Fred Baptiste,
Yes.
Rabbi Berman,
Abstain, thank you.
abstain,
Yep, abstain.
Warren Burke,
Yes.
Celeste Chase,
Abstain.
Suki Chung.
I had a question that I didn't get to ask, but I'll abstain.
Suki, I'm sorry, there's no questions. Thank you.
Jamie Eckstein, Matthew Fulton,
Yes.
Tessa Hackett Vieira,
Hold on, no.
Bishop Gonzalez,
Yes.
Abena Hutchful,
I support it, yes.
Primo Lasana,
I think we've lost Primo.
Mina Lagute.
Yeah.
Michael Liber,
Yes.
Matthias Limburger, Matthias Limburger, Courtenay Lawrence,
Yes.
Christian LeBeau, Christian LeBeau,
I think he might be in the attendees. I'm not sure. I think that's his phone.
Can you hear me? This is Christian LeBeau voting yes.
I take it back.
thank you.
Thank you.
Letwin Mavina,
Yes.
thank you. Erin Mazursky, Vivian Morgan, Pat Moses,
Yes.
Beverly Newsome,
Yes.
Rael Peerboom,
Yes.
Ted Pilcati, absent. Milford Pruitt. Milford Pruitt.
Yes. Did you hear me? Yes.
Got your vote. Thank you very much. Noah is absent. Felice Robertson.
Yes.
Rashida Sadiq.
Yes.
Debbie Timothy.
Yes.
Linda Watson Lord.
Yes.
Teresa Westadall.
Abstain.
Thank you. Lorianne Wosley. Lorianne Wosley.
Yes.
Cheryl Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. Give me one moment, Warren.
Oh, Mia, this is Kyrie Aline. I would like to change my vote to abstain. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
Point of order.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Go ahead with the point of order.
Yes, this is Stuart Valberg. In my opinion, this vote that just took place is legally actionable, meaning that could somebody successfully sue against the board for this because of the improper notice about the intent of the vote. Because the persons were notified that this would be a discussion about the vote and not continue, and therefore they were led to the impression that there would not be a vote up and down on each issue until the next meeting, and therefore a lot of members may have left the meeting or been improperly advised, and as a result, in my opinion, this is an improper vote. The notice, there was no written notice that there would be a vote on this issue, that no sustained notice that the vote would be. In fact, the impression was given that the vote would not take place. That's my personal opinion.
Okay,
Right.
thank you,
I
Stewie.
have to
Everybody,
agree with that.
just point of order here. Stewie, thank you for that input. We will proceed with the votes, and if what you're saying is correct, we will check it out. In order to be, in order to be doing the right thing is the best way to put it. But thank you for bringing that up. Do we have a tally?
We have 20 votes of yes, 5 abstentions, 2 votes of no.
Okay, do we still have quorum? I think it's 20.
Hold on a second.
Yes, yes, we did.
1, 2.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
Point of information, how much time do we have left in this session?
right.
Excuse me, I'm the chair right now. We have
It is
five, we're gonna take one more
10:37.
question. We're gonna take one more
10:37.
question and then we're gonna end it. Okay, so that passed. Dante, could you please read the next one?
Actually, if I could request the chair, I want to table this one. Actually, I want to table the next two. I would rather go to item number 5, I believe it is. I think this one's probably, no, that one, keep going.
Okay, so you're tabling items
4, I'm
3 and
sorry.
4?
Yeah, I'm sorry, hold on one second. I'll tell you where I want to table to. Yeah, I want to table my items. If we can go to the item by member Loisel.
Okay, that will be the last one. Your items will be tabled. And
Yes,
let's go to that one, and that's the last one, and then your items as well as the other items will be further discussed at the next meeting. So Dante, could you please read that?
Yes, so board member Courtney Loisel, I hope I didn't butcher it, is looking to include more inclusive language into the bylaws. So board member Loisel has essentially put chairman/chairwoman, change it to make it gender neutral and inclusive of every person because it doesn't matter. So chairperson is inclusive of all people. And the board member's rationale was that it's clearer, more straightforward, and inclusive. So board member Loisel is looking to change the language in the bylaws from chairman or chairwoman to chairperson for the purpose of making it clear, more straightforward, and inclusive.
Thank you. Would the proposer like to comment on that for a minute?
Thank you, Dante and Warren. I think that covers it. I thought by simplifying the language, it really covers a lot of bases to improve the overall content of the bylaws. Thank you.
And thank you very much. Are there anybody would like to speak on this? Please take a list, Dante.
Yes, Stuart Dahlberg. This is again, is an illegal vote because we're supporting, we're violating this country. This country is under guard. We cannot bring another flood with this kind of talk. This is totally wrong.
Mute him, please.
All right, on the list, we have board member Teresa Westerdahl.
Okay, Teresa.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how many instances this would change. Like, how many times does this happen in the bylaws that we need to change?
Okay, noted. And I think you could check that out by reading it,
And I'd like to
Teresa.
know too, if we're changing it, don't we have to do each bylaw that it changes in? Is it okay to just go through? It's just
No,
questionable.
Okay, the answer to that is that if we accept this proposal, then it's all inclusive to all the instances in the bylaws, and it's not individually. So thank you. Next speaker.
How many times?
Next speaker, Fred Baptiste.
Mr. Baptiste.
I think this one's an easy win for the board. I think it really reflects to the point that yes, anyone can be chair. I think it makes cleaner language. It's more consistent. I think, to the point, the question, it happens several times where they say either the chairman or the chairwoman, chairman or the chairwoman. It just makes it more, it gives us more consistency throughout the document. When I did my review, I actually highlighted a number of points. I had did it as just text changes, but I think I think this amendment should just be adopted.
Thank you. Dante, is there other speakers?
Nope, those were the only two hands. Each person does get the opportunity to speak twice. So the only list that we had was Ms. Westerdahl and Mr. Baptiste. So if you plan to speak again, you still get the 1 minute.
Any takers? Okay, do I have a motion to accept this proposal?
I move to adopt this recommendation number 12.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, Mia, could you please call the roll?
Kyrie Eileen,
Abstain.
Why the hell?
Nicholas Almanor,
In favor of
Stuart Balberg,
No,
Fred Baptiste,
Yes.
Rabbi Yaakov Berman,
Same.
Warren Burke,
Yes.
Celeste Chase,
Abstain,
Celeste
but not for the content, just the process of the amendments.
Understood. Suki Chung,
Yes.
Jamie Eckstein, Matthew Fulton,
Yes.
Tessa Hackett Vieira,
Abstain.
My cell phone, you dropped in this bag.
Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez,
Yes.
Abena Hutchful,
Sorry, no, I don't support this change.
Prima Lozana,
And no, your phones are not in the.
Minor Legute,
Yes.
Michael Liburd,
Yes.
Matthias Limburger, Courtney Loisel,
Yes.
Christian LeBeau,
Yes, can you hear me?
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Letwin Mavina,
Abstain.
Aaron Mazursky, Vivian Morgan, Pat Moses,
Yes.
Beverly Newsom,
Yes.
Raul Peerboom,
Yes.
Milford Pruitt,
Yes.
Felice Robertson,
Abstain.
Rashida Sadiq,
Yes.
Debbie Timothy,
Yes.
Linda Watson Lord,
Yes.
Teresa Westadall,
Yes.
Lorian Wosley, Lorian
Yes.
Wosley,
Yes.
thank you. Cheryl Wright,
Yes.
thank you. One moment. Okay, Warren, I have 20 votes of yes, 2 votes of no, 6 abstentions.
Okay, so, and just confirm to me that we still have quorum? We have 28.
There are 28 members here.
Okay, and that's quorum.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the motion passes, 20 yes, 2 noes and 6 abstentions. Thank you. Okay, so at this moment, I'm going to turn the meeting back to Fred. I appreciate everybody being here with their diligence, and we'll continue this at the next session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Warren, and thanks to all the board members for your careful consideration. Okay, we've got 2 new amendments to the bylaws, which is significant because we really haven't done that much over 15 years. So we look at it, this is 15 years of work we're taking back over. This is an accomplishment, and we're going to continue the process, and we're going to continue the conversations. Okay, so with that being said, we are now going to go on to the next item of business. Is there any new business for the board to consider? Okay.
I have
hearing
a
none.
question. I have a question.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Okay, we hear you, Mr. Pruitt.
Go ahead. Well, there's been, as you know, I'm on the Social Services and Health Committee, and we typically review applications for new restaurants that want to open a business in the district. Now, unless this was done earlier before I joined the board in the fall, maybe I'm speaking to the wind uselessly, but there's been something like 4 new restaurants that open up in between Church and Parkside and Fenimore. And there's another new restaurant that opened up recently in a Bigman Place, and then none of these restaurants, none of these restaurants were the ones that I've seen the application on. Maybe it was done before, but so is the way to work it is to get the names and the addresses of it and run it past my chairman, or what?
Yeah, what you can do is you can reach out to the board office, send us the location, the name of the restaurant and the address, and we'll check the SLA query to see if they have an active liquor license. I believe that liquor licenses are attached to addresses, so that's probably why you didn't see them, but I will confirm. If you just send over that information, I'll connect with you via email.
One of them looks like a 1930s style speakeasy. It's very, very fancy.
I think the question that's going to come there is what they're serving as well. The board office can confirm if they have an SLA, if they have an approved license. But restaurants in general, they don't have to come before the board. It's only if they wish to serve alcohol, at which point they've got to put in an SLA application, and then it would come to the board as part of the review.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well,
but if it's just a restaurant, they don't need to come to us.
I'll get the names and addresses then. All right.
All right, thank you for the question. All right, is there any other new business for the board to consider? Okay, hearing none, I want to just thank everyone. This is a long one. But at the end of this, we are going to be a better, stronger board. And, you know, we're basically catching up a little bit, but at the end of this, we're in a much better place. I want to thank everyone for hanging in there, for staying through. We are going to get better. We're going to get faster. We're going to improve this process as we go along. We're going to be thoughtful. We're going to take our time. We're going to make sure we consider it. And at the end of the day, the bylaws will be much improved after this. So with that, I thank everyone.
Ray, before you dismiss, I want to just ask you one question. So let's just say two amendments was approved today. Is that going to be now part of our bylaws? In other words, would the changes go on now, or we got to wait till everything is over?
No, those are amendments to the bylaws.
Okay, so that will be changed right now. Then we will get.
The board office will work on changing the language in the bylaws. So give us a little bit of time because amending PDFs is rather difficult, but we'll make the changes. And once those changes are made, we'll send it out to the entire board and also post a new version on our website. And if you know of anyone who needs it, who claims that they don't have access, have them reach out to the board office and we will provide it for them.
So let's discuss that, because I don't know if we want to have 17 versions of it, but we do know that these are currently provisions that are in effect. So I think when we get to a critical mass, we'll be able to affect all those changes. So that way there's not confusions where they got the February bylaws as opposed to the March bylaws. So that might be what we want to consider with that. But these are effectively part of the bylaws now. These are provisions of the bylaws. The ones that we-
Yeah, and the only reason I asked is that if it comes up like now in terms of the bylaws, those are the only two changes that I know of thus far. So
Correct.
it happens now, and so people will need to know that maybe you don't have to reprint the whole thing, but can we just do two? So everybody will know that this is what it is now. Because that's the rules that we gotta follow.
Right.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll send it out and it will be clear. Thanks.
All right. I'm not gonna keep you any longer. Everyone, thank you. Stay safe. We've got a lot of work. Please make sure you're checking your email accounts. There's gonna be a lot of meetings and a lot of notices going out. And please feel free, if you have any questions, always contact the district office. You can contact me as well. All right,
Motion
I
to
will
adjourn.
entertain
Second.
It sounds like I want to leave. I hear a motion to adjourn. Second,
Good night, everyone.
any objections?
Love you.
None at all.
Hearing none, we stand adjourned. Time is now 10:55. Everyone take care.
Good night.